Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roll Down podcast. My name is Cutler. Guys, we don't have a guest tonight, so I'm going to go straight in to introducing my colleague, co-worker, my friend, my co-host, Sol. What's going on, buddy?
What's up? What's up? It's good. It's doing good.
It's going to be a bit more of a relaxed fit today, guys. If you're listening to this, it's going to be a bit more chill than like usual. We don't have 100 questions to ask a guest. We don't have too much going on. The meta's a little bit stable/stale right now. So we're just going to chill out. We're just going to talk TFT. We got some topics that we're going to go through. I think we've got some really good questions tonight as well. So we'll go through those a little bit later on. But, Sol, you hit Challenger last night. Congratulations.
I did, and then I probably dropped out of it today because I'm not gonna play anymore, and I dropped down to like 485 LP. But
it's fine. It's fine. Who needs Challenger?
Sorry about it.
Talk to me a little bit about that climb yesterday, where you went up a good couple of hundred LP in one day.
Oh yeah, I did. It was alright. It started kind of sus. I didn't play yesterday. I mean, it was 2 days ago, right?
2 days
yesterday
ago.
I just did I did VOD reviews and stuff. But yeah, like 2 days ago, I went 666. I dropped down to like 385 LP. But then I discovered the Lysandra tech. I top forward like 4 out of 5 games. Then I high rolled 2 games and went 1-1, and I hit Charlie. It was lit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We had an animated discussion about Lysandra on your stream yesterday. We're gonna look. We're not gonna yell at each other. That's not what we're about.
No,
but some of the topics that we've got today, I know that we're gonna disagree on, and I'm quite.
Oh, for sure.
I'm looking forward to discussing them. We're gonna basically just talk about.
That way, though, right?
Yeah, it is better that way.
It's better that way. It's better if we disagree, huh?
Yeah, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna mess around and talk some shit about like what comps are happening at the moment. I mean, yeah, basically just sort of talk about what's going on in the meta, what to sort of expect, and we'll kind of get the ball rolling really. So you were kind enough to sort of come up with a nice big list. I think we should start at the two costs.
We can just run from the top. Yeah, run from the top to the bottom for sure.
Yeah, just sort of do the 2 costs and roll and sort of go from there basically.
Yeah. I'll do like a quick preface to everyone who's like listening, watching. Like, this is not a tier list by any means. I think this patch more than anything rewards flex play. Like, except with maybe with the exception of Katarina, you really shouldn't be forcing any of these comps. You should just be like, it's always augment dependent. It's always item dependent. Always like opener dependent. And yeah, it's doing well in this patch is about like finding the right lane.
Yeah. Okay.
Without further ado, we can jump in though.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Do you want to talk? We're gonna get it out of the way first, guys. We're talking about Katarina first because we don't want to spend the whole episode discussing Katarina.
No, we'll keep it short and simple. So yeah.
Fuck this stupid unit. I'm sick of it. I don't want to see it in. I don't want to see it for an. I'd take out the entire academy tree in 6.5. To be honest, I don't want to see any of the. I don't like any of the units. I don't like any of the playstyles that any of them come up with. It's boring.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I'm sick of it, bro. I'm so sick of it. No, fuck Yone.
You know, like the fight being over like the first 2 seconds.
We're not talking about Yone yet. I got more to say.
We'll get the Yone.
On Yone.
All right, we'll start with Cat. All right, you've been living under a rock. Katarina is a 2-cost reroll comp. Looks to open fort, go level 6 at 3/2, and just send it all the way down for 2-star Katarina, 2 bodyguards, and 4 assassins. That's the comp.
And then saving 50 gold and then hitting Cat 3, Talon 3, Blitz 3.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Basically just 3-starring your entire board. Echo 3, Leona 3.
Yeah. So the reason why this comp is actually good is honestly because half the reason is because people don't properly adjust their boards if their boards are weak. So that like they end up paying what people call it the cat tax, which is where you face Katarina at like 3/3, and then you don't kill a single unit, they kill all your units, and you take like 15 damage to the face. Yeah, a lot of people just pay the cat tax for no good reason. And that's part of the reason why Katarina top 4 so consistently, because people have really weak boards stage 3, and Katarina is really broken stage 3. But that being said, the comp as a whole is actually not that broken in the sense that like it almost never wins. Like it will top 4 with like incredible consistency, but it never like top 2s. Like it very rarely top 2s. The lobby has to be like really weak to top. But I mean the comp's still kind of broken because it's really consistent. But yeah, thoughts?
There have been lots of comps in TFT history that are like, play this comp if you want a top 4. Like if you want to sort of be a consistent player and you want to work to your outs and sort of try to be safe and top 4 a lot of lobbies. Maybe you won't win every lobby, but that's okay because you'll be doing well. There's been lots of those comps before that exist in TFT. Cat is not one of those comps because it is a reroll comp. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Like I get what you're saying. Yes.
It's not the same as a comp that promotes safety because it's not a safe comp.
It's not like Skirms, it's not like Sentinels, it's not like Draven.
It's not Lucian. It's not like set 5.5 Lucian, which was relatively safe. And if you high rolled, you could win the lobby.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's degenerate. It's very degenerate.
I mean, sorry, you go. Sorry.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think is overpowered about Katarina? Take away the fact that board strength. Take away board strength out of the argument. What do you think's overpowered about Cat itself?
So I mean, if we just want to look at the unit itself, right? The ability is very uninteractive. She does not care where you position your shit. She will as soon as she gets a reset, she auto priors the unit with the lowest HP, and she will dash into them and like blade swirl and like kill them if they're weak, right? So that coupled with the fact that like during stage 3 when the board spikes, a lot of other people still have like 1-cost carries, one star carries, or just 1-star units on that board. Means that like Cat gets her resets really easily, and then she just kills everything. Because the key is getting the reset. Like if Cat takes 8, if Cat gets like stuck on a tank, she's not that good. Like if she gets stuck on like a Bramble Vex or like just some like beefy unit, she's not that good because she never resets. But the problem is that like there's always like some random like 1-star unupgraded unit on like everyone's team, and Cat just like randomly kills it, resets, and then the chain begins. And also Talon's broken. Talon's also really good. So
yeah, Talon's really good as well.
Like, Talon is like the underrated part of the comp. Talon is really strong.
Yeah, and I just want to say a little something. We're not talking about any 1-cost reroll comps today, because
there's one. There's one of them.
There's one of them.
There's one.
But
ooh, it's on fringe. Yeah.
It's really fringe. I will just say that they made 3-star Yordles so shit because you need 6 of them. And the second that you get Cat 3, you basically don't lose until stage like 5 from then on. I think that Cat doesn't need to be like murdered, literally. Like they don't need to gut everything about Katarina. They just need to nerf Cat and Talon 3-star by a good amount.
Yeah.
Because
dude, I low-key think if they literally just nerfed it by like 10 AP would be enough. Low-key. Like I think that's literally all that needs to be done. Like you just bring the damage out a little bit and it's probably fine. Like it's just the numbers right now feel too perfect. Like the numbers feel too exact, if that makes sense.
It's not only that, but like the items that Cat uses are like way too good for her exact like kit. She gets healing.
That,
she gets zap.
I mean, I'll agree that IE plus Spark is like
really good. Strong. It's too good.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they should be gutting. They shouldn't be gutting Spark because I really like Ionic Spark as an item. I think it has a really interesting place.
Yeah.
But you're getting like the value that you get out of stackable crit damage plus like declining magic resist on enemy units is way too good.
I mean, in the context of Cat, I agree.
Yeah.
But like, But like in the context of everything else, right? Ionic is like pretty fair. It's just a good item.
Yeah, exactly. But it shouldn't be it shouldn't be a carry item, should it? It's not like an item that you put on your like damage dealing carry.
It
really.
can be. I mean, last set there was Spark Fiddle. Like it can be a carry item. Like
would you consider Fiddle like a damage carry realistically? Like I never considered
if
Fiddle to be a damage carry.
Well, last set if you had Sin Fiddle, like that was a legit threat. Like
right.
if you had Sin Fiddle, for example, that was like very legit. Like Sin Ionic Fiddle was pretty insane there. Like last set. I think it's okay for Ionic to be a carry item. I think that's fine. It doesn't have to just be a tank item. But I think in the context of it being on like an assassin that like one-shots everything, yeah, it's a little more dicey. It's a little more dicey.
So I think
it's
realistically, let's just say that we probably both agree that the problem is the unit itself, right? Like more than anything.
I think the issue is the unit. Yeah, I agree the issue is the unit, not the items surrounding it. I think that it's exploiting the existence of, Ionic Spark, but like it's ultimately the unit's fault. It's not Ionic Spark being out of line. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the way Katarina behaves. That she just dives in and shots everything.
This is also a very unfriendly like protect yourself from assassins set, in the sense that like you can't really clump your entire team.
No, not really.
You can't like hard clump.
There are too many good AoEs.
Not only are there too many AoEs, but there's 99% of the time, if you put Janna in, your Janna will die before it ults the fucking assassins away.
That happens all the time. That literally happens all the time.
And you want your you say you put Orianna in, you want the ball to shield you, heal you, protect you. She ults away from your team, basically.
For sure.
Because she's prioritizing a frontline unit, so she's not holding your team. So you don't have this like inherent not necessarily counterplay, but different strategy that's existed previously.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as clear as like it was the position against like Nocturne and like Diana, I guess. This might be a hot take. I'm pretty sure Unnerved Nocturne was infinitely more broken than this Katarina comp. I think this Katarina comp just feels bad to play against because it spikes at stage 3, not stage 4. Because Nocturne spiked at stage 4. So you had some time before you started getting hit for like 18 in the face.
Yeah, but
Cat comp, like...
Yeah, agreed. I was just going to say, like, it's much fairer to lose to a 4/5, like a turn 4/5, 3-star, 3-cost, than it is to lose to a 3/1, 2-star, 3-cost and take.
Yeah, I mean, I'll concede that for sure. Like, Cat spikes way too early. I think that is somewhat problematic.
So you're getting to the point where it's like, it's unfun, basically. Yeah. Like, I'm not having fun playing against Katarina whatsoever. Because you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean...
For three rounds, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't agree 100% because, like, I just... In my game, I just have not felt like this is that big of a problem. But I will concede the point that if you are low rolling and you fail to spike at 3-2 and then you face Cat, it just feels like an 8. Like I'll concede that point for sure.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think it's. I think it's heavily. I personally, from my own anecdotal like gameplay, feel like it's very exaggerated. Especially since it's like 2 Cat plays every lobby is the thing. It's always contested. Like it's never uncontested. I feel like day 1, day 2, you can make this argument, but like it's too contested now. Like everyone fucking plays that shit. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's sort of the natural cycle of a comp that's really OP. Like, a few people are playing it for, like, 2 days, and then someone tells everybody that it's really broken, and then there's about 4 days of everybody going, like, 7th with it who are trying to play it, but aren't very good. And then there's, like, the next week, there's, like, one player every lobby hard forcing it, and one other player, like, trying to piss them off by countering them and doing it too.
And then they'll be, like 3-4, like, really high challenges psychopaths who just, like, play, like, 100 games of it. And somehow still play.
Exactly. So we're kind of at that like third portion of every OP scenario in TFT
Yeah,
where
okay.
like there's not everybody's playing it anymore.
Yeah.
And the people that are either like one tricking it or only like just getting to play it basically.
Mhm.
So you're seeing a lot of you will always see quite a bit of variance in this regard because
Yeah, for sure.
not everyone's going to play it the same. You know, not everyone's going to
Absolutely.
play it as
Yeah,
well. And then
absolutely,
maybe there's
absolutely.
going to be 3 people with Cat 2 at like 2-5 or something. And
Mm.
one of them's got to move off it, or one of them's like got a Cat 2 on bench for the entire game, trying to annoy people.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
we go
Yeah,
through
I
like
mean,
cyclical things in TFT.
I mean, like, okay, this is I feel like I mean we talked about cat for a while now. I feel like to put a full stop on the whole cat thing, if anyone in the chat, anyone listening is sick of playing against cat, just hold 2 cats on your bench. Just grief 2 cats every time you play, and I guarantee you they will hit significantly less often. I think it was Ramco who tweeted, if everyone in the lobby just holds 2 cats, they literally cannot hit. So it's literally on you guys if you if you want to group these cat arena players or not. But yeah.
Yeah, let's end the cat comp talking very quickly about Talon.
Okay, sure. We can briefly touch on
The bleed is too much early
yes.
game. Way too
Okay,
much.
Talon's actually broken. Okay. Yeah, like half the time it's not with cat. It's fucking Talon. Talon's actually broken. Like 1-star Talon does too much damage. 2-star Talon also does infinite damage. Don't worry about 3-star Talon units.
3-star Talon
I
doesn't
think
matter
Talon,
because they've already got 3-star Cat.
Yeah. So I think Talon also needs to like numbers down a little bit, but it's fine. Like his identity is that he's the single target. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move. Look, I just think it's fair enough to say nerf Talon 1 and Talon 2 and nerf Cat 3. Basically.
Yeah. And maybe nerf Cat 2 a bit as well. Cat 2 is also a bit too consistent.
Yeah.
Lucky Cat 3 is not even the problem, it's Cat 2, but yeah. Alright. Moving on. Alright. So I feel like we should go through like some of these fairly quickly because some of them are self-explanatory and some are fringe. So the next one will be the Cogmore Protector Reroll comp, which is for those who don't know, it's basically just Cogmore, Cassidon, Garen, Blitzcrank, Graves, and Caitlyn, and you just roll for everything 3-star. That's the comp. It's not very good if you don't hit everything very early, so it's only really playable if you have either Trade Sector, Hyper Roll, or Rich Get Richer. Or for some reason, you decided to buy a bunch of Garens early and you got more Garens.
Yeah.
at which point you can think about playing it.
And you're only buying Garens early if you want to play Garen.
Pretty much.
Basically.
It's a little sus because Garen's kind of bad. But,
so they're pretty free. Like, to be honest, one person plays this comp in every... We're at the stage of this comp right now where it's not being contested. So one person basically hits all the game. Every game.
I mean, yeah,
but it doesn't make it broken by any means. No, you do have to hit early for it to be good.
But the issue with because the issue with this comp is that it's tempo reliant. If it doesn't hit early, it is not very good. Yeah, if you're hot stock like Garen 2, Castle 2, your comp is so weak.
Yeah.
So you really need to hit the 3 stars early.
And this comp needs a fuckload of items, man. You need like 3 item Garen, you need a fucking tank item on Cassidon so it doesn't infinitely die in stage 4. Yeah. You need like 3 items on Cogmore. For some reason you need like 2 mana items on Kate.
Cog is really just Rage Blade and then the other items that matter. But yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of good value in binary airdrop in this comp actually, to be honest with you. I think
it's not bad, yeah. It's definitely not bad, yeah.
You do need quite a bit of you need quite a bit of help with your items, basically.
Yeah, because you play so many you have so many units you can itemize. So binary is like good in this comp.
Yeah, I don't think anything in this comp is like overpowered by any means.
No. It's like reasonable.
They did a good job nerfing the units that needed to be nerfed, basically.
I think last patch this comp was a lot better before they nerfed the Garen mana, but like, now I think it's pretty reasonable. It's like good if you hit early. And ideally, you only really want to play with Econ Orgs. Like, if you have Econ Augments. Otherwise, like, you just won't hit early enough. But it's pretty good with Econ Augments. Like, I'll tell everyone that. Like, if you like Trade Sector, this comp is so good with Trade Sector. Because everything's a 1 cost. So you just hit early. But, yeah. Alright, moving on. Sorry, did you want to add anything else?
No, I think that was pretty much covered it. I would say that I think maybe they could turn down cog 3 a tiny bit, but I literally don't think it needs anything more than like
Oh yeah, maybe like 1
like
or 2%.
yeah, 2% on the level 3 ult
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, it's probably fine. Yeah, but like other than that, it's probably fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The next one is the Trundle Comp. So it's basically just Trundle reroll with Trundle, Vi, and then I think the most common version is Zac, Mundo, Echo, and Kalen. And basically, so with this comp it's a bit weird because it's like a reroll comp, but you don't actually want to play it from a lose streak. You need to play it from like a win streak. And the big reason is because Trundle, even at Trundle 3, falls off really, really far hard unless you have featherweights. And that's the thing that transforms this comp into like an S tier comp. If you get featherweights, it's really, really good. Without featherweights, it's kind of middle of the pack. But yeah, you look to play this comp when you get like Trundle really early and you have a bunch of bruises that are like upgraded. And then you have like decent Trundle items, which are like Bloodthirster, Ruinous Hurricane, and like QSS. If you have like BT plus like a bow, you can look to play this comp. Or if you have like Thrill the Hunt, I think in that episode we did with Angora, he pointed out how broken Thrill the Hunt is with Trundle.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fucking broken. Thrill the Hunt literally like turns Trundle into a different unit. So if you have Thrill, you can think about this comp as well.
If you get like Thrill 2 at 1-4,
oh yeah.
it's so good. Trundle just heals so to full, yeah. Like all the time.
Yeah. If you have like Thrill 2 and then like Trundle with like Runin, it's pretty lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the key is with this comp is that you want to play it from like a win streak. You don't want to like open forward into it because even if you win out stage 3, if you've lost like 30 plus HP, you're still just gonna die stage 4. Because the way this comp wants to play is it wants to win stage 2, it wants to win stage 3, and then it just wants to slowly bleed out stage 4 into like a top 4.
Yeah.
So, that's like what I mostly learned from playing it is don't play this comp from a lose streak, and it's pretty good with. Okay, I think the one time you can play from a lose streak is if you have like featherweights. Like if you start like featherweights 2 or like featherweights 3, you could like probably open 4 for this comp, and it's really broken.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I just think that Trundle 2 is too good right now, basically.
Trundle 2, I think it's. I don't know.
Itemizing Trundle 2 is way too efficient right now.
I think last patch I would have agreed, but they did nerf the spell AD steal. It's like not as high anymore, or something like that. Like they nerfed like the damage. It's like not that good anymore. I think in the right circumstances, Trundle 2 is like really, really good. Like if you have like a bunch of bruises for the hunt, like pretty broken. Like I don't see Trundle 1 streaking it, which I did see before. We are talking about Trundle 2.
Yeah, I don't think like Trundle 1 is like not a great unit anymore, basically. The nerfs like totally made it probably a little even too weak, to be honest. But Trundle 2 is still really good.
Yeah, whereas I think last patch Trundle 1 was a bit too good, but yeah. Sure.
They've just swapped the power around. I actually think that Trundle 3 is relatively fair.
Trundle 3 is, Trundle 3 is fine, right? Like Trundle 3 is literally just so you can keep up with the pace of the lobby. Like, so you don't fall off a cliff. Because, if you have a Trundle 2 at, like, stage 4, you're gonna fall off a cliff. So, yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what they were thinking. I want to talk a bit about Vi. Like, Vi's Armor Shred is really good. It's probably probably too good right now.
Yeah.
I think that it needs to be nerfed a tiny bit, but I also think that stuff like bodyguards and like innate tank units in this set don't really need help, like too much help.
Yeah.
I just think that Vi needs a little tuning down, and then you probably have to tune down like Darius a tiny bit, you know, like maybe some of the early bodyguards.
Like Vi in this set is literally like what set 5 wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like AoE Armor Shred Bruiser is literally what set wanted to be, and Vi is like that. This set, Vi is like really even like Vi 1.
Yeah.
It's like a shocking amount of damage. Vi is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's a really good late game splash unit actually. Vi.
It is. It's surprisingly,
just because of how valuable Enforcer is late game. Enforcer's a little bit. Enforcer 4 is bugged at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's kind of useless.
Enforcer 2 is less good because it doesn't hit Colossus units anymore. But it's good. But like it's less good. Like last patch Enforcer was really really good because it was hitting Colossus units. But this set's like this patch is like still good, but like just less.
Yeah. We'll talk about Colossuses later. We disagree on some of those.
We'll definitely touch on Colossus.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh, and I should probably preface, like, before I start talking about this call, I should probably start preface whenever, like, I say, like, open fort or whatever, in this specific set, you should never actually, like, ever fully open fort, and the reason is because yordles exist. So when, like, you open fort, you should just buy yordles and lose streak with, like, yordles, if that makes sense. Because the yordles make money, right? And the yordles will never win. Like, if your board is, like, Ziggs 1, Lulu 1, Poppy 1, you're never gonna win a round. So you're gonna lose every round.
Yeah. And you're never going to kill a unit until you get them upgraded, basically.
Yeah. So when I say so when I do say open, I don't sell. Don't just like sell units that have an empty board. You should probably look to buy all the yordles that show up and play through yordle. But
yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the Vex comp, or it's really just Arcanist, but I listed this as a 3-cost comp because the carry of the comp is Vex. Like Vex is the reason the comp's good, not because of the carry. That makes sense. Vex is like the glue that sort of holds everything. So basically, the way this comp plays is there's 2 ways to play it. You can play from win streak or you can play from a lose streak. We talked about this in the episode we did talk about this comp in the in last week's episode with Chunga, where we discussed that this was a really good out for low rolling. So I'll lead by talking about the lose streak version. So essentially, like if you start the game with like a defensive item and then your opener has like those 2-star units, right? You can basically just like sell all your units like econ and then only play yordles and then just and then you get pick prior, right? So you prioritize like Bramble Vest for your Vex, and then your yordles are slowly generating like more yordles. And if you high roll, you can high roll like a Vex off yordle. And then basically what you do is with like your lost streak money on 3-2, you just roll it down for Vex 2, Malzahar 2 ideally, and then just a bunch of Arcanists, and then you just win streak with that board basically. That board's really strong. And then you basically transition this into like a Lux or like a Victor carry. Or even Malzahar 3 if you get a lot of Malzahar. But yeah. And the other way to play it is from a win streak, which typically you're doing with Twisted Fate and Syndicate. So you have like Darius 2, TF2, and then you ideally have like a Morello Nomicon on TF. And then at that point, you could just win streak, and then either like fast 8 and just roll down for like Vex 2 plus like Arcanists, or you can roll like 4-1 at 7 for like Vex and Arcanists. That's basically the call.
Yeah, I find that the win streak version is really oppressive, and that's because you can also play yordles in it, but the yordles aren't shit. In the sense that you're actually synergizing your yordles correctly, because you'll be playing Poppy Darius, you'll be playing TF Ziggs, and then
you can play Poppy Darius, TF Ziggs, and then probably like Vex as well. So,
yeah, exactly, and then you'll hit a Vex, or I mean like you can play Lulu Tarek as well in that version. Sure. I think that's really good. I actually think that like in the win streak version, if you're doing well and you have AP items, like let's say you hit like Poppy 2 Darius too early, you're like barely gonna lose any rounds until stage 5. Really. Like you'll usually be streaking pretty hard and very effectively as well because the units are just so good right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to mention Lux too much because I think Lux is really balanced. If anything, I actually think she does a little, like, not enough damage, if that makes sense.
Lux feels really fair. Like, when Lux is good, you feel like you don't feel mad losing to it because it was kind of fair, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And you sort of, you never feel terrible because unless you're playing against, like, a win-streaking Arcanist board, your stuff isn't getting one-shot. In the back line. Like, one of the things that made Vel'Koz so annoying, and I'll talk about Vel'Koz very quickly, is like, if you hit the right side, like, if you were playing Vel'Koz and you hit the right side, you'd kill their backline carry every time.
Literally everything dies. Yeah, literally everything just insta dies.
It would never have a chance. Like, Aphelios would never ult, for example. It was very, like, Lucian would ult but die, basically, even if you had healing most of the time, because they'd just high roll. Now, if they hit Lux on, like, if they high roll and hit Lux early, your stuff's gonna die. But if there comes a point in the game where it stops dying, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
And that wasn't the case with Vel'Koz. Yeah. Like, a lot of stuff takes, like, 4 Lux ults or 5 Lux ults to die now.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to kill things with Lux. I swear to God, that unit.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a game today where I had, like, 6 Arcanists, like, perfect, like, item Lux, and she still wasn't one-shotting any. Like,
yeah. And I've been doing a lot of coaching this week, and I've probably played, coached, and watched about 50 Lux games in the last week since our last podcast. And
right.
Lux is definitely a fine unit right now.
Yeah,
They
it's
could
not
buff
bad.
Lux and I would be okay. What they need
Right,
to
right,
nerf,
Yeah.
and I wanted to preface by talking about Lux first, because I think Lux is
Yeah,
fair.
sure.
Victor is not a fair unit.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay. I was like praying you wouldn't say Vex. It's Victor, right? Victor is
Well,
so
Vex is bullshit.
Vex is broken too, right? But you wouldn't win games without Victor.
Yeah.
Victor like seals the deal. Like Victor is that unit is
Mm.
legendary though, it should be good. But like holy fuck, that unit is so powerful. Like
Yeah. I want to say that Vex
that unit
also
feels
people
just-
attribute Vex being broken for the wrong reason. Vex isn't broken because she never dies. Vex is broken because her shield resets like 5 times a fight.
Yeah.
It's way too oppressive to have her shield
also
change all the time.
Issue, okay, I think the other fundamental issue that makes Vex broken is because you get Vex from an econ trait. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's true.
We're playing a fucking econ trait.
Like, yeah.
Your best frontline is generated by an econ trait. Like,
yeah.
That is so fundamentally broken. Like, it's just so fundamentally powerful.
Yeah, and look, the 1-star is pretty fine. I wouldn't say Vex 1 is like...
1-star Vex is fine. It's 2-star. It's 2-star.
2-star Vex and 3-star Vex is like, I think, appropriately strong. But they made Poppy 3 so shit. Poppy 3 is like the fakest unit of all time in this set now.
It is.
And they've left Vex in this state that it shouldn't be, basically.
I think the issue with I think Vex 3 is appropriately powerful for a 3-star 3 cost. But like the biggest issue is Vex 2 during stages 3 and 4 is like the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Vex 2 does fall off, but like Vex 2 spikes so hard on stage 3 and 4.
Yeah.
It's so strong. We kind of went on a tangent. Can we bring it back
Yeah,
to Victor?
let's go back to Victor. Let's go back to Victor. Victor is so fucking bullshit.
Yeah. That unit is so strong. Like his numbers are just so high. Is the thing. Like he doesn't even need Arcanist to be good. Like
yeah,
he played with 0 Arcanist, and he'll probably still kill like half the board.
Dude, Victor is your endgame in Innovators right now.
Yeah.
If you have AP items, you just transfer the Seraphine items to Victor.
Yeah, to Victor. Yeah, that's your endgame. Exactly.
And you can do it to Victor 1.
Yeah, you can. Victor 1 is like Victor 1 is like low-key good enough top 4, and then Victor 2 is just guaranteed top 4.
Yeah. I had a game at the start of the week where I had Victor 2 with good items, and I had Gunblade. It got Blitzcrank hooked, altered 4 times, killed the whole board, did 11k healing. Because it doesn't die. Victor doesn't die, basically.
It doesn't die. Yeah. Victor's really fun.
And if, oh my god, dude, if you get lucky enough...
It is a legendary unit, so I feel like
yeah,
pretty good.
It should be good. Right.
The 1-star is maybe too good.
But it shouldn't void Lux's reason for existing.
Agree.
It should actually... We had a problem. I remember when we were talking about the set 6 leaks, and we were talking about, like, why does Victor armor shred, basically? And we were also talking about him being really bad. Because at the time, he was really bad.
Said that he was actually broken, but yeah.
Yeah.
I really tried playing him again. I was like, oh yeah, this is right. So
yeah, and we came back to it, and we were like, wait a minute. What did we miss here? And basically... yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. What I was going to say is basically what we missed is that a lot of people still think he's kind of shit. Or like for the first 2 weeks, like people still thought he was really bad. So he's basically uncontested.
Oh, for sure.
It's like an uncontested legendary unit that kills the whole board.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I think a lot of it's to do with the amount of lasers he fires. He fires like 4 lasers, and each laser covers so much of the map. And the base numbers, I think the base number of every laser is like 500 or 600 damage or some shit. So it's basically dealing like 3k or something to everything to the board. It's like so cool.
It also doesn't miss, by the way.
Yeah,
like, it's like a fucking targeted ability. I don't think Victor has ever missed my carry when like my carry walked. The laser just follows it.
It's very reminiscent of GP from set 3. It's very reminiscent of GP. Like, I'll say that for sure. Like, Victor is very reminiscent of GP.
Yeah.
Like, if you probably itemize them, you have synergies, he will literally one-shot the entire board.
Yeah, agreed.
But you know.
It's too broken. There needs to be...
I think the 2-star version should be good, but yeah.
The 2-star version should be great. Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I don't think that it should... I don't think that... I'm going to say that I have a fundamental problem with Victor being in this set if significantly overshadows the existence of your premier 4-cost carry.
Yeah.
Which I just think it's a little.
I think. Okay, so this is just the PvE. This is just the tentative change of PvE, but I thought I'd like to bring it up. Because if it pushes through, I think it's gonna make Lux even worse and Victor even better. The blue buff for PvE, it currently has been reworked to give you 60 starting mana, and it will still reset 20.
What?
Is there just no reason to ever play Lux ever again?
That's
I'm actually
ridiculous.
serious. I don't know if they're gonna pull it or not, but like I don't know if it's gonna ship or not, but like they're currently testing it on PvE. So like, if Victor is no longer Shoujo reliant and it can also play blue buff, there's no reason to ever play Lux. Like, yeah,
you get a free sword for your entire rest of your comp, basically.
Like you could just do like Shojin blue buff JG Victor, and you will literally just insta cast and kill everything. Because Victor doesn't need IE like Lux does. Because Victor's base numbers are so high, he just needs a JG. But yeah. I don't want to speculate too much because like it might not ship, but like I just thought it was interesting.
I'd like to say that since I'm not going to talk any spoilers. So if you haven't watched Arcane, I am not going to spoil anything right now.
Okay, no spoilers.
No spoilers. Zero spoilers. After watching Arcane, however, I get it. Okay? I get it. Look, I get why the units that are in this set are in this set. I get why the...
Victor, Jace. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, I get why the units in this set are in this set, right? I didn't get it at first. I get it now. There needs to be a fundamental change to Victor in some way. It doesn't make him so oppressively overpowered, and basically ruling out the reason for Lux to exist.
Yeah, for sure.
If Victor was like not necessarily a utility unit, but let's say for example that he got rid of magic resist, for instance.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
Garen.
you could basically gut his numbers to be a utility unit in a way that makes him still good, like reasonable to play. I'm not a game designer. I have no interest in like claiming that I'm right when I say that. I'm just sort of talking out loud in the sense that like there are ways to make a unit thematic and still enjoyable.
For sure. I think the bigger issue, right, is that like Lux and Victor have the exact same identity, which is the problem. I think that's more of the problem.
And so that's why I think that Victor needs to have his identity changed in some way. Because Lux isn't the problem here. Lux isn't the problem. Victor is the problem.
I was gonna say, if anything, Lux should do more damage, and Victor should do less damage but have more util. But I don't have the answer. I 100% agree. Like, your 4-cost carry should not be an item holder for a 1-star 5-cost.
Yeah, so essentially what you're doing when you play AP in this set is you're using a 1-cost to hold for a 4-cost that holds for a 5-cost.
That holds for a 5-cost, yeah, pretty much.
That doesn't...
spitting out a 3-cost tank that comes from an econ trait.
Yeah. That's pretty easy to 3-star.
Very easy to 3-star, especially if uncontested.
I'd like to bring something up with you that I've been thinking about recently. I think the level 3 shop odds at level 8 are too high.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree. There's not that much difference between rerolling at 8 and 7. Also, I just want to quickly answer a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Like Malzahar at all in the Arcus Superman? No. So I did mention Malzahar as an out. So like, if you don't hit TF early, you usually just roll down at 3-2 for Vex 2 and Malzahar 2. Like, Malzahar is your mid game basically. And if you hit your natural more Malzahars, you can just play Malzahar 3 with like 6 Arcanists like Vex 3.
Yeah,
it's like pretty good.
And at the same time, you can also move your TF items to Malzahar.
Yeah, exactly. So
and you don't have to keep Mal's 3. So you can move your 1-cost items.
Oh yeah, you don't need to transfer from Mal's to Lux. Yeah. Mal's is probably better Lux.
Exactly.
Mal's is probably better Lux as well.
I also think that's a huge fucking problem, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
That feels good. That feel like, look, I agree with Fish in the chat.
I'm happy with Malzahar though.
And I don't think Malzahar's overpowered. Malzahar should be cool.
Yeah. I'm happy with him being good though. Alright, do you think that the fact that Arcane is so good explains why House 5 was so poor?
Yeah, one of the things that I really like is how much input Mort had on Arcane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like that Mort was in there, like, what if we make this unit an enforcer so I can put it in my TFT set?
True.
Look, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's literally no correlation. What the reason that I wanted to talk about Arcane was because the units in this set are very thematically related to the TV show. But it wasn't out when set 6 dropped. So we had no idea. Like, we have no idea why all of the units in the set are important.
You're wondering why freaking Jace was an enforcer.
Yeah.
Why is this Jace guy an enforcer?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you watch Arcane and click, oh, that's why he's an enforcer. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So look, now let's put a cap on that. I just want to say I agree with the chat in the sense that
Victor's broken.
Honestly, really I'd rather fucking play TF2 than any Lux in stage 4.
Yes.
And that feels bad. That feels fucking bad.
TF2 Morello Blue Off Syndicate feels better than fucking Lux 2. Like,
yeah. Especially since because he's sitting there, and if like your frontline dies, he's basically like carding people in the face as they're attacking him, and he's healing.
Yeah. TF is also.
And he's just like passively healing the whole time. Whatever the way that the AP tree currently exists is incredibly lopsided, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So that needs to be a high priority fix, I think, basically. Yeah. Anyway, let's.
I'm honestly like pretty happy with most of it. To be completely honest, it's just for me, it's just that like Lux and Victor just share the same identity, which makes it slightly uninteresting.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this Victor unit is just a better Lux. Like, why would I ever bother carrying Lux? Victor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like the rest of it. I like that Arcanist has its own frontline that's like separate to all the other frontlines, right? I like that you get to play around like Vex and Swain instead of like having to play the same like Braun Leona or like Mundo Zac frontline that like everyone else has to play basically. Or like like I like that Arcanist has its own frontline. That's kind of cool.
No, I really like that too. I just think that you'd literally rather play every other Arcanist than except the premier one, the premier 4-cost carry.
Yeah. Agree. Okay. All right, that was a decent amount of talk about Lux, but no, and just AP in general. I think that's very, very productive. Okay, moving on to like the next 3-cost column. I won't talk about it too much because like despite having gained a lot of LP and having played a decent amount, I don't actually think this comp's that good. But I think you should go for it if you see the angle, and that's Lissandra. So Lissandra is really weird because it's a 3-cost comp. But it's not really a reroll comp in that, if that makes any sense. Because Lissandra 3 is actually not that much better than Lissandra 2. In that, like, Lissandra's strength comes from the fact that A, she applies Morello to everything. B, she extends the fight because she applies AD reduction, which is like Dazzler from set 4, if people remember that. And then C, when combined with GA, she has untargetability because she can ult herself and just prolong the fight. So basically, what I'm getting at is that this is like a really, really good unit in like a stall comp. And that's basically what the list comp is. It's a stall comp. So the way this comp sort of works is you ideally play it if you get Lissandra really early and you have a Morello Nomicon. And then your board is essentially just Lissandra plus a bunch of like bruisers and like Scholar and like a high Medina, right? Until you can get to level 7, roll down for Lissandra 2, plus a bunch of enchanters and scholars. So you play stuff like Tarek, Seraphine, Oriana, Janna to basically just like put your opponent in like shield and heal hell basically. Just keep shielding, you keep healing. Meanwhile, the whole team is dying of Morello Nomicon. But yeah, I don't think this comp's actually that good if you reroll for Lissandra 3. And ideally, you want to go up to like level 8 and level 9 so you can play stuff like Yuumi in your comp, and then it gets really good. Or not even. Like I think that this comp like probably caps out at like top 2. I don't even know if you can win lobbies. But yeah, those are general thoughts on this so far from having played like 10 games of this.
Look, I'm gonna listen to you on this one. We had a discussion about Liss on your stream the other day. I don't think it's very good, but I will say that I think that it's not very good for a very specific reason. There is a better comp / carry for a gain mana, heal, and stall comp, and that's Seraphine. So
that's what I was thinking about as well.
Yeah. Let me just say, I think rerolling for list 3 is fine. It's very item dependent though. You actually need 3 perfect items on it, I think, which requires
Yeah,
two
it's a different
tiers.
build tree. It's also a different
Yeah.
build tree. If you go for list 3, right? It's a different build tree. Because
Absolutely.
You're building a list to one shot with an ulti, not to like kill everything with Morello instead. If that
Yeah.
makes sense, right? Yeah. It's like probably like JG, Shojin, and then like Gunblade or something. And then yeah, you're building it to like one shot and like keep healing.
Yeah, I desperately think that you need to heal yourself with Lissandra because
yeah,
with
if it's like 3-star,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
if you're going for list 3, you cannot play Lissandra without self heal basically.
Agree.
Because you desperately, if you ult yourself, shit, it's over. Like this fucking round's over. You lose basically.
Yeah.
Because you need to be continuously ulting. Like you need to ult
Yeah.
You need to initially ult their front line, burst their front line essentially, so the rest of your units can do damage. You then need to walk forward and burst their back line again, which basically one shots the back line. So if you're doing that and you ult yourself, you don't kill the back line, which basically gives most of your opponent's comps enough time to kill you. So I think if you're gonna go for Lissandra 3, go for the healing. So you continue.
For sure. I'll say that I think that like so I think that the reason to play Liz over Seraphine is that like Liz comes online a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So like you won't be like a lot of time you won't be in the perfect spot to play Seraphine, if that makes sense. And the thing with Liz is that like I mean at least the way I played the comp was like I basically secondary and third carried Seraphine and Orianna as like my like extra damage.
Yeah.
Like, Lissandra was like just like Lissandra was like the glue of the comp. But like I ran a lot of extra shit to like do damage. Because Liz by itself is not enough damage. Like that's for sure. I agree.
Yeah, you sort of need to combine it with the other units for it to really be good.
Yeah.
I also think that it's not. I actually think in that instance it's really good to roll for Taric 3 as well, because a lot of the times it'll heal you, Lissandra.
Yeah. I mean, the spot comes if you natural a lot of Tarics, right? I think Taric 3 is like these.
I actually think that not enough people roll for Taric 3. It's like literally I don't see it in any games.
It's kind of sleeper. It's pretty sleeper. I mean, I don't roll for it, but I think you're right. The numbers are pretty hard in that unit.
So I roll for Taric 3 reasonably often. As someone that's played like a lot of Lux / Victor and Seraphine in the last sort of week or so, I roll for Taric 3 quite a lot. I find it really, really good. I don't think it needs a nerf. I think it's like where it should be for a kind of like healing unit.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, right? I think it's like good but fair.
It's good but fair. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's worth it's worth the gold, but it also doesn't feel bad after that. It doesn't feel like unfun to play against afterwards.
Yeah, it's not step 5 like super tank level where it goes infinite. It's just good.
Yeah.
It's big heal. Stays alive for quite a while. Good util, but yeah, it's not broken, but it's good.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not a waste basically is what I'm trying to get at there.
Yeah, agreed. But I think this is like good, and you can play it if you have the angle. It's like especially good early, I would say. That's the thing. It's especially good early because it lets you streak, and then you can play from a streak basically.
Yeah.
Oh, Nolan says Echo 3 with util items is pretty underrated. No. Echo 3 is not underrated. Echo 3 is so fucking good. Like, okay, we didn't talk about Echo 3 in the Katarina discussion. Okay, I'm gonna briefly touch on Echo 3. Echo 3 is so fucking good. That unit is. Ooh, Echo 3 is actually a win condition in Katarina. Like, that's how it is that you win lobbies with that comp, is Echo 3.
Echo 3 gets way too much value off of... Like, you can play fucking any items on Echo. Bro, I want a fucking lobby with, like, Static Shiv... Fucking, like, Static Shiv, Frozen Heart, like, Redemption Echo or something. Echo 3.
Yeah.
And that shit's so fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Echo is, like, if you just read what he does, it's just like, holy fuck, this unit does so much.
Yeah.
It attacks me buffs, it frozen hearts, and, like, it applies Morello to everything it hits as well, so it's like, bro, the unit is so good.
Yeah. Echo 3, Echo is really overtuned as a unit in general.
Yeah, Echo
I actually think that not enough people use Echo as an item holder in the mid game.
Agree.
Actually, you don't need Assassin. You don't need like anything with it. You can just play Echo 2, and it's good.
He's just good. You play Echo 1, like he's
good. Like,
he frozen hearts. He attacks me with buffs. He's just good. Like it's so good. Yeah,
it's actually like Arcane exactly. And I'll talk about it in the context of Trundle, like another comp, a comp that utilizes Echo as well, really effectively.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really good with bruises. Echo. It's so good.
Yeah, we didn't talk about enough. We don't talk about Echo enough. Like, Echo holds a lot of these comps together.
It needs a big nerf, Echo, I think. desperately.
Maybe not a big nerf, but maybe
Oh no,
just
I legitimately think that they need to take
really?
they need
I
to
think
take
you
the
should
the
put
attack
Mort
speed
down.
slow out of it.
Yeah, low-key.
I
Yeah,
actually think that Echo buffing his teammates is perfectly fine.
that's fine. Agreed.
I think that one of those two things needs to go. Either it slows or it
mean,
helps you.
yeah.
It shouldn't
I mean,
do both, really.
yeah. I mean, this is what's it called? Hey, we're going on so many tangents, but I think tangents good. A lot of people who probably didn't have PB probably don't know that like Seraphine used to attack speed slow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And it was removed like the third day of PBE because it was so broken. Like,
Yeah.
So Seraphine's ultimate, like on PBE, like until the third day, was basically like heal your team, do damage, and attack speed debuff every enemy it hits.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, that just goes to show how strong it is to
Yeah.
like, attack speed slow.
And I think we're at the stage of this set where there's a lot of champions that don't have enough in their kit and a lot of champions that have way too much.
That's true. Yeah, I think we can definitely agree on that.
Like, it's really fucking hard to win lobbies with units that don't have excessive stuff in their kit, basically, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, I've been playing quite, like, to sort of test, we didn't discuss it, but Warwick reroll is something that's, like, relatively...
Yeah, I didn't want to include it just because I personally have literally never played it, but, like, I know
Yeah.
it's decent, especially by the way.
So I did a lot of testing for it for this episode specifically, and I know that we're not touching on it. I will just bring it up quickly.
I mean, if you played a bunch of it, like, feel free to talk about
Yeah,
it.
and I just...
I haven't played it at all.
The main thing I want to say is, like, Warwick gets attack speed and heals a little bit of his autos.
Yeah.
Contrast that to what Echo does. You know?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And they're both units that you want to roll for, essentially.
Yeah. It's
like,
the whole, it's the whole, our champions don't have overloaded kits me.
Yeah, exactly.
There are some champions in this set that
Yeah.
have like the simplest like 2-line ability, and then the other champions that just have a fucking wall of text as their ability.
Yeah. And I think we're stuck a little bit in the sense that the units that came out of PBE relatively unscathed are yet to be nerfed, basically. Echo.
Star asks, will they nerf or buff Socialite later?
I think Socialite's fine, I think, really.
Yeah.
I think Socialite is really fine.
I'm actually pretty happy with Socialite. The only thing problematic with it is its interaction with Colossus. We can get on
Yeah.
that later. Like, yeah.
I think that 20% damage is too much.
Really? I think 20% damage isn't enough.
Really?
Really? No, wait, 20% damage is not that much.
Bro,
damage.
I put fucking Warwick 2 with 2 items on. It's too good.
Sorry.
It's way too good.
Loud?
No, sorry. I needed you to be a bit louder. I turned you down a little bit earlier.
Okay. Wait, actually? Oh, okay. It's fine.
No, I just evened you out because you
Okay, that's good. Okay, because Darty made me scared for a second. I was like, fuck, I know I'm loud, but like, Jesus Christ.
No, you should be fine now. That should be way better.
Okay.
We're also just mitigating a couple of sound issues that we were having, guys. Hopefully that's good for Sol. Just let us know if that's good. Very quickly, we'll touch on the Socialite. 20% is too much for frontline units and too little for backline units, I think. Because backline units generally have a slightly lower...
Okay, you know what? That's a good point. Okay, I agree. I actually agree.
Because I think that...
is significant for backline, too much for
yeah. Because I think that there's lower base damage on backline units specifically to make up for the fact that they hide.
Yeah, compared to frontline units.
So the only issue that I have with it is that you kind of need to balance the fact that if you get a frontline Socialite hex,
and it gets like way worse with like Knife's Edge as well. Like, augments like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or any buff like Jace 1 in Socialite 2. Is too good. Is way too good. 20%
the mana making him like endless cost. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And that goes for like stuff like Warwick, and it goes for stuff like Yone.
Yeah, for sure.
It goes for stuff like Galio as well, which we'll get onto. It's just too much. It's too much for frontline units. So if they're willing to keep Socialite the way that it is, I do actually think that like some of the backline units could use a bit of a help when it comes to like base damage.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. I think it's tricky to balance, but like I definitely agree on those points. I mean, I don't pretend to have the answer, and like we could sit here and argue forever. But yeah. I think the long story short of it is that I agree. a bit too good for frontline and a bit too weak for backline. Except the mana generation is like okay for you still, but the damage portion is like not that good for backline.
Yeah, and I've sort of gone full circle on Socialite. I originally thought that like 1 was good, 2 was good, and 3 was bad. Basically.
Yeah.
And now I think that 1's broken, 2 is insanely overpowered, and 3 is meh.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, for me it's I think for me I land somewhere between that. I think 3 is meh. I think 1 is good, and I think 2 is like.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 is really fucking good. Because you can always just put your util unit on the Socialite Hex, right? You always put a random like Oriana, Seraphine, and the it's what 5 mana per second. It's just so strong. It's so much extra mana.
It's way too good, especially because a lot of comps cap out with 2 Scholar. It's really easy to cap out with 2 Scholar. It's just Janna and Yuumi. Pretty much every comp plays that. Let's move on. Let's move on.
That was a good tangent, though. Like, that was a good tangent.
Guys, look, we did say that this would be a more relaxed, fit episode. We're just sort of talking this shit. We don't have a guest to impress. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about the Arcanist Cup. We are talking about the Arcanist Cup next week, and we will get into that in the post show. We'll talk about Arcanist Cup.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll work on that. But for now, we're just talking shit about the meta, basically.
Pretty much. All right, let's. So the last like 3 cost like comp I have listed is Samira. I can't say too much about Samira other than the fact that like to me Samira feels like this set's. I mean, it's nowhere near as fun to play. It's nowhere near as satisfying to play. But it feels like this set's Yasuo, like from set 5. In that like it's really good if you hit it from box and you can win streak early with it, but you can't really force it. It's not that good if you're not naturally a lot of Samiras. And it's also tempo reliant in that you kind of need to be on a win streak, you kind of need to have items for it, you kind of need to be ahead to do well with it. But if you are ahead, it's pretty good. The Samira items are pretty straightforward. A lot of guides will tell you like Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, plus like whatever the fuck. But realistically, it's just 3 damage items. Samira can literally use anything. Like Runen, Rageblade, Giant Slayer, like Deathblade, doesn't matter. Like just put 3 damage items on your Samira and she'll kill things.
Yeah.
The most important thing in this comp is probably just hitting Samira 2 really early. Like, because Samira 2, especially on like stage 3, is so freaking overpowered, especially with Imperial. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward to play. You hit Samira 2, you go level 7, you reroll for Samira 3, play a bunch of Imperials, play a bunch of frontline units, and play like 1 challenger. That's basically the board.
I think that.
Oh, sorry, and to add one more thing, sorry, real quick. It gets really, really good if you have All for One. That the augment that makes it so that as your units die, they feed your Tyrant more max HP, so your Tyrant's gonna be Samira, right?
Yeah.
So if you have All for One, it's a lot better. But
All for One is the difference between Samira being a top 4 comp and Samira being like a winning lobby comp, I think.
A top 1 comp, right?
Because Samira 3 is really good, but it cannot win a lobby, like, eventually, because shit just gets in its face. It can't kill stuff in its face all the time. Like I have
front to back, right?
Yeah, it really is a front to back unit. If your comp is moving towards the enemy comp, Samira's like probably one of the literally one of the best units in the game. Like it's so good. Sure. And that counts for basically any challenges. If the challenge is like resetting and coming towards you, they're like the best units in the game.
Yeah. But if they get stuck, oh boy.
Yeah, if they get stuck, if you're like if your comp is, I'm just gonna use like very simple terms. Like if their comp is walking towards you, they're gonna fucking win. If your comp is walking towards Samira, like that is when you know that you're like have a really good chance to win the fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Samira is like significantly weaker when stuff is piling on top of it, because it's also a really slow resetter. Samira doesn't like use her sweep when stuff's in front and like continuously sweep over and over again. It's got to like auto twice, sweep, and the sweep doesn't do a lot of damage at 3-star.
The sweep is literally like a last resort if they like close the distance with Samira, basically.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be broken, and it's not. Basically, that's the point. So I will just say that like things going right for Samira, it's like an A tier comp. I definitely think it's really good.
Oh, for sure.
It's really hard to hit your units if like there's a fucking cap player in your lobby, and if there's like nobody else is re-rolling, it's really hard to hit Samira's, I think.
There are definitely games that are like Samira games, and you look to like play on Samira.
Yeah.
But I think there are not that many. Like as in like you should only really do it if you have Samira from box. You have like Camille 2. It's probably that. It's probably like Camille 2 with Samira from box, and then at least 1 offensive item, and then you can look for a Samira game. But if those statements are not true, it's not that good. Like, if you don't have like the Camille 2 to tank, it's like still not.
Yeah, I like that. I agree. I'm pretty much in agreement on that one, I think.
Sweet. All right, let's keep going. All right, this is the forecast comps. Holy shit! If anyone watched my stream today, Jesus fucking Christ, I lost all faith in this champion. And we're gonna talk about Jin. I've literally lost all my faith in this champion. Like, holy cow! All right. How does
Can I start on Jin? Can I start on Jin?
Yeah, you can start. You know,
quickly?
if you want to say something, if you want to say something real quick.
Because I played Jin for the first 2 weeks of the set, right? Literally, basically like 50 games of Jin. Yeah. Guys, and I've been saying this ever since the PBE, basically. You cannot play Jin from behind.
Agreed.
It is
hard agreed.
You will lose 40 HP to bullshit every game.
Actually,
you need to be on 70 health basically. To top four with this comp.
Yeah. Actually,
because you will lose to some bullshit. I guarantee.
Yeah, the board is so expensive as well. The board has so many like 4s and 5s in it. It's so expensive. But I mean, I'll start with saying like just general rundown for anyone like who doesn't really play too much, more casual with Jin. Basically, it's a fast 8 comp. You want to play it for like a win streak where you have a lot of econ because the board has a lot of 4s and 5 costs. Long story short, the board consists of like a frontline plus Jin. The frontline is ideally a bodyguard frontline with like Brom and Leona and Jace, and then your backline is going to be like Jin with like Misfortune is for sniper and then a bunch of enchanters and scholars. And then your Jin items are just 3 damage items, can literally be anything. The Jin Biss is like Jin Biss is probably the most fake Biss in my opinion of like all the units. In that Jin just needs 3 damage items. It doesn't actually matter what his damage items are, because Jin will either like full grief your fight or pop off either way. Like no matter how good your items are. And then that's pretty much like the Jin board. I will say part of the reason why Jin feels particularly bad right now is because of the targeting bug. And for people who don't know, basically for the entirety of the current patch, there's been a bug that's existed where after a unit casts their spell, they will basically switch to a different target than the one they were initially hitting. This is especially problematic on a unit like Jin, because the way Jin's AI behaves is that he will curtain call in the direction of the unit he just shot. But the issue is that right now, when he curtain calls, he just randomly picks a new target. Yeah. So there's no way for you to like properly position Jin right now. It's just hope and pray he doesn't grief every fight, and it's great.
You had a discussion on your stream yesterday that I'd like to bring back when it comes to Jin. You guys talked about like the usefulness of IE early on.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I'd like to bring this up in the context of Jin, because Jin cannot function without IE Last Whisper, basically.
Really? I don't know if that's true.
Basically, what is going like the front lines that exist now, you cannot kill with Jin if you do not have IE Last Whisper.
Really?
I'm telling you right now.
I get brambled all the time. That's why.
Yeah, you get brambled. So that's why you need Last Whisper to kill anything.
Yeah, but Last Whisper doesn't even do anything. Like.
Well, they do need to buff Last Whisper. That's another story.
Yeah, Last Whisper doesn't even help against bramble is the thing, right? But I mean.
I will just say that you need it. You literally need it because you have 0 hope otherwise.
I mean, my opinion is that the strength of Jin doesn't come from Jin. If that makes sense. It's from feeding in legendary units like Jason that actually make the board good. Like, Jin will kill everything if the fight lasts long enough, but the fight never lasts long enough without Jace 2 giving me 1 is the issue. Thoughts? Yeah, and I think Tarek is also really good.
Agreed. I also think that people have been playing Jin wrong for as long as Jin has existed in this comp. It is a fast 8 board. The fast 8 board is significantly worse than playing Innovators. And you would also rather play AP if you were going to play Innovators.
Yeah, like
you need it the same way that you need to play Seraphine, basically. Everything needs to heal infinitely and stay alive long enough for Jin to pick a fucking target that makes any sense.
It's 80 Seraphine, essentially.
Yeah.
Jin. It's
because
80 Seraphine.
You need to stay alive long enough for Jin to hit a backline unit.
Yeah, I agree.
If you don't do that, you do not win fights with Jin, basically. Unless for somehow it targets the backline. somehow.
These are all true statements. I mostly agree with pretty much all of this.
So
I think
when it comes from playing Jin from a like a fast 8 board, play something else.
What items on Jin? I mean, his best Jin best. Okay, so to answer Speed's question real quick, if you really want, I would not recommend playing like this. But if you really want to like get the best items possible on Jin, it's Infinity Edge, Last Whisper plus probably Giant Slayer. But like, you might that if you play a lot of Jin, that might happen like every like 10 games, because the way you should play items is like you should try to like slam your items as early as possible depending on what you get. So like it's really hard for you to get those like 3 perfect items every game. So realistically, like it's gonna be like Infinity Edge plus like some other like random item, like maybe like a Giant Slayer or like a Death Blade or like a Rage Blade.
Yeah.
Just because like you couldn't make perfect items.
The other problem is if there's any AP players in your lobby, you have to have a healing item.
Yeah, somewhat true. Yeah.
Because in ult, if you hit ult, if Jin ults before Victor lasers,
Jin he gives him mana.
Jin ult will heal him basically.
He gives him mana. I think you can get away with it if you play like 3 enchanter. If you have like Stunner plus like.
I'm telling you right now, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
Really? I feel like you can sometimes get away with it if you're.
Sometimes it's not enough times.
Well, I think behind you can never get away with it. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
You can never get away with it behind, but I think ahead, like you can stack the HP to get to the level 9 board, and then like it doesn't matter at that point because your util is so strong that you know you still be able to beat them. But getting to the level 9 board is really hard.
you don't survive. You literally don't survive.
You really don't.
You realistically need Orianna 2, Seraphine 2, Janna 2, Yuumi 2, Jin 2, Jace 2.
Jace 2, Braum 2, Leo 2. I feel like we named like 10 units, but yeah.
And then there you go. You've got a good board, basically.
Yeah, that board's the first. That board's actually a first. That board's actually good.
And I'm telling you right now that 5 innovators is better than that. When it comes to like survivability. Because it's way easier to get, and it saves you so much health in the mid game.
We can transition this into like talking about just innovators in general.
Yeah.
We can keep talking about like Jin in the context of innovators, but I think it would be good to use this as a segue into innovators.
Yeah.
So like, I think innovators does unlock the potential of Jin in that like both the bear and the dragon, I believe, give like Jin big like stat boosts, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and the Jin actually kills things.
Yeah, it does.
That's probably the biggest part. Yeah.
The difference I will say is if you're playing Innovator Jin, you cannot play Misfortune. You need a healing reduction item. You can't. In your capped board, you don't play MF because there's no fucking room for it because you need 5 or 7 innovators. Because you're literally playing shit like Ezreal and Singe in your endgame board.
You just don't play Sniper at that point, right?
So you never play Sniper unless you go like some rare occasions you can play Caitlyn at 9 because it gives you Enforcer. I'll just say you don't play MF. You need a healing reduction item. It is so important.
I need to do this more now that I know that it's an actual comp. But like I haven't actually played enough innovators. So when you play like my question is like when you play like Innovator Jin, do you just play is it still good even with the bear, if that makes sense? Like if you just play like 5 Inno, or do you need the dragon? How important is this dragon?
To play Jin? Dragon.
It's like Jin, because I know in Seraphine you can get away with the bear. In Seraphine the bear is actually good enough.
The bear's fine because it full heals every time that Seraphine hits it.
Yeah. But I imagine in Jin you need the dragon, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because you need shit to stop fucking attacking you. That's why the
dragon fears.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dragon fears, so it buys you infinite time. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
The infinite time is less necessary with Seraphine because you have infinite healing.
Yeah.
So if you do not hit 7 Innovator, it's still fine to play Seraphine, basically. Is what I'm saying.
Agree. Yeah. So like the problem then just becomes that the comp is so niche, if that makes any sense. Because you can only really deal with Innovator Soul. Or like you high roll like 2 Innovator Emblems. Right? But like
basically.
The comp becomes so niche, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is doable. I will just say, if you're going to play Innovators, just assume you're playing AP at the end of the game.
Yeah, it's a Super Seraphine, right? Is what I'm like thinking. For sure. Yeah.
And I try.
We can transition this.
I just want to quickly say, when Innovator, like AP Innovators was first getting popular, people were playing Orianna carry.
Yeah.
Stop it. If you're still doing it, stop it. Basically.
I think it's okay secondary carry, but she's not your main carry. The carry is Seraphine.
You
It's not like a
you
big
cannot carry Oriana unless it's 3-star. I'm telling you right now. Even then, you still
Really?
fucking lose half the time.
I mean, okay, but how do we define carry? I'm gonna assume we're defining carry.
Main damage dealer. Main damage
main
dealer.
damage.
You
I think
cannot
Ori's
main
really
damage
good
deal
secondary.
Oriana. Yeah,
But-
I agree.
Yeah, but I think Ori's really good secondary though, right? Like, yeah.
Spare
Like Ori with just surgeon, plus
yeah.
like random items is just good. Yeah.
Spare tier on Oriana, like spare tier items on Oriana, great. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But it is not the carry in Innovators. It cannot be.
Yeah, we can transition this in like Seraphine, and like I've been trying to look for the angle now. Now that I actually like understand how the comp works, and like I've actually seen people play it. From like, I mean, actually, you've played the comp a lot more, right?
Significantly. I basically played it for about a week straight.
Okay,
yeah.
do you just want to talk about the comp? Do you want to talk instead about the comp? Because like I feel like if I talk about it,
yeah,
everything I say is just theoretical because I haven't actually played.
If you don't hit Seraphine before 4-1, you have to roll to 0 gold until you find one, at least.
Right.
Basically, you basically roll until you find Seraphine. Sometimes you'll hit Seraphine 2, like maybe you'll have 30 gold left. That's great, whatever. You have to roll until you have a Seraphine at level 7.
Do you ever play this comp when you don't have this like the innovator opener?
No.
No, right? You never transition it. That's what I'm thinking, right? You never transition into this comp. This is just, it's always, you only do this if you started with innovators, right?
I've only had success transitioning to this comp once, ever.
Yeah.
And it's because what was
the reason?
It's because I got innovator spat off a tome dropped from 3-5. Yeah. Oh, sorry, dropped from 3-7.
Yeah. Okay, right, yeah. It's like, there's no way you could like roll for like fucking 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
The thing.
So basically, if you don't start Ezreal 2 Singe 2,
yeah.
or get a Heimer Resilient out of a box, forget playing Seraphine. You cannot roll at 4-1 to hit Ezreal 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
yeah. Who do you use to hold your Seraphine items, actually? That's a really good question.
So, very, very interestingly, Heimerdinger.
Okay, right.
You have to save yourself a Heimerdinger, basically.
Right, so you can remake, basically, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, I feel like List would be pretty good, no? To hold Seraphine items?
You know how I feel about Lissandra.
Like, I feel like List is probably pretty good, though, because you get to keep the Heimer and then List the Biss is the exact
same. It basically...
We've even discussed that you want to transition from List to Seraphine, no?
Yeah. So it's a reasonable hold, Lissandra. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I would just say that...
I mean, this is theory, though.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, Heimer does a good enough job, basically.
Okay, I mean, Heimer is good, that's for sure.
Yeah, Heimer's a good unit. So it's totally fine. I don't mind if you put it on Lissandra. It's good as well. I have played it. I just, like, every time I play this, I feel like...
It's probably just a matter of what you're natural, right? It's probably just
and I think that there's a lot of issues because you're basically a fucking hold on till level 7 comp, essentially.
Yeah.
You're not like you don't lose a lot of health if you're playing innovators. Really?
Because your comp is innately strong early, right? Like S2, Stage 2 is innately good early.
Yeah. I will say as well that like it is honestly totally fine to put AP items on Camille on Stage 2 and Stage 3.
Yeah, because I mean you're gonna sell Camille anyway.
Yeah, you sell Camille. But if you get early Camille too, I mean, I put AD items, AP items, tank items. Like, I just fucking put everything.
Yeah, like, I mean, you can like, if you don't have, like, a Morello holder, you can just, like, Morello Camille, and, like, it's totally fine, right?
I would also say that if you're going to Morello Camille, it cannot be front middle row, basically. You need to actually you need to put it behind the Singed and the Scarab.
Yeah. You can't have, like, tank everything. Yeah, correct.
I think the most you cannot frontline Camille.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, I think it is pretty good for like innovators. I think it's like pretty much like look to play it if you obviously have like an start. It's like a no-brainer force if you start with like Innovator Soul from Prismatic Orbit. Like it's just a no-brainer force to comp.
Hard fucking force that shit every day.
Yeah. But like Innovator Heart is like also really good. If you have like Innovator Heart, like that's also really good. Basically, like I think Innovators is the comp that benefits the most from like Hearts because it just lets you fit in better units. Because you don't have to play like Ezreal, you don't have to play like Singed and stuff, right?
Exactly. Eventually, you just like start taking shit out of the comp.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay, cool. So Are we happy with that?
Yeah, I just want to wrap up on Seraphine very quickly.
Okay, sure. Go for it.
She is not a spell crit carry.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
cannot put IEJG on Seraphine. Sure, it looks cool. Sometimes it will kill stuff. Sometimes, and I'm prefacing this when I say sometimes. Her base damage.
Sometimes.
Her base damage is
low.
Very low base damage. Her best items are Shojin, Morello's, and Gunblade.
Is it not Archangel? Wait.
No, Gunblade is really good.
Really?
I'm telling you right now.
It's team-wide. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
The whole point is to stay alive for as long as possible.
Oh, I like it. Okay,
Gunblade is really good. I do not mind. I do not mind Archangels. I will just tell you right now. Extra rods are really good on a Jace that won't die.
Right. Yeah.
Using.
But besides, you could also just arch the Ori instead.
Or Jace. Jace.
Yeah, or Jace.
Jace gets infinite value. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Jace doesn't die.
Jace never dies because you're healing him. Tarek is healing him. Seraphine is healing him. Janna is healing him. Orianna is healing. It is not always better.
I mean, you never agree with this, right? Like, I keep trying to preach this. Like it's just anyone who listens to the podcast. When we talk about BIS items, we're talking about like
a 1 in 10
ideal world.
Basically,
if you the perfect item combination, this is what you should play.
Yeah,
like you never agree for best is hard.
It's basically a 1 in 10.
It's like if you're sitting on Archangel, just fucking slam Archangel in your Seraphine. Like, don't wait, you know. Like,
let me just say, you cannot play Seraphine without Shoji Morellos.
I agree.
But those are not difficult to get.
No. It's really easy to pull.
Those last items are harder to get.
Yeah, because Shoujo Morellos, they're just 4 separate components. So it's really there's no duplicates involved. So it's really easy to natural them over the course of a game.
It's also very difficult because you should win streak stage. You should be win streaking stage 4, basically.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you had an innovator start, right? Like your early game should be like.
Yeah, you should have You'll have reasonable health, and you should be win streaking in stage 4, meaning you're not going to get a preferred high tier item at the end of like in the middle of stage 4. Which often means that you miss out on Jace.
Mm-hmm.
Go level 8, basically, at 4-5 a lot of the time in that comp. Just go level 8.
Yeah.
Go level 8, get yourself back to 30 gold or 40 gold by 5-1, and then just try and hit. Basically, you just have to try and hit everything.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never. Also, I mean, if you have any innovator bonuses in the comp, don't go level 9. Roll for Seraphine 3 every time. We've talked about a lot of like how fake level 9 is in this comp. You do not, like in general, but you do not need Jace 2 to win lobbies with this.
Yeah, because Jace 1 with like all the support and like items is gonna be like good enough, right?
Well, either your Jace has 2 or 3 socialite, or your Seraphine has socialite, so she's ulting more often.
Plus, he's just getting endless amounts of like shields and heals. He's just never gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's 1-star.
So Jace never dies until they gut Jace, basically, which they will.
No, they don't gut Jace. There's no way they gut Jace. Hope you. I really hope they don't gut Jace. I actually like Jace.
They will.
I just want them to buff Cannon Jace. I really just want them to buff Cannon Jace. Like I think. Oh, maybe just buff melee. Maybe just buff melee just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. But I think Cannon Jace is like illegally terrible right now. Cannon Jace really needs it. All right, so we talked about your innovators. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about the boogeyman, the other boogeyman of the format. That would be Yone. That would be Yone vertical, or Chinese Yone, as some people call it. But long story short, it's a vertical comp, meaning that you are focused on playing around a single synergy. That synergy is going to be challenges. You want to play either 6 or 8 challenges, depending on the spats, depending on units. 6 is typically what you run, but 8 is really, really good if you can hit it. Your carry is going to be Yone. Yone is going to be your main damage dealer. But you have a lot of secondary carries. We'll touch on those in a moment. Yone has one item that's important, only a single item, and that's Guardian Angel. He's really, really bad without Guardian Angel. You absolutely need Guardian Angel. Part of the reason why is because basically Yone's clone, when he he splits into he summons like a clone that also attacks. Yone's clone keeps attacking when he's like reviving Guardian Angel. So like, and his clone is untargetable and doesn't take damage, right? So yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory why Guardian Angel is good. And then it's just 2 damage items. They can literally be anything, but his best one is going to be Runen. Rudin lets you hit backline units. But other than that, the comp is like really easy to play. You literally just play all the challenges, and then maybe like 1 or 2 utility units. And I would like to touch on the fact that the comp is really augment dependent as well. In that, if you have the right augments, it goes from like good to like just straight up like broken. Like if you have like On Guard, which just disarms everything. If you have like Thrill of the Hunt 2 or 3, like your units never die. You have like Exiles, units have like massive shields. Yeah, so that's like Yone. That wasn't too long.
That was super quick. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. If they do,
Sure.
if they nerf Yone like they nerf set 4 Aphelios, is he shit?
Ooh.
Just for while Soul thinks about this, for everybody that doesn't know,
he becomes bad.
Yeah, me too. I also think he becomes.
We can touch on step 4 Aphelios real quick.
Yeah, I just want to say that, like, for those of you who didn't know, Aphelios was very similar, where he had turrets in set 4 that would stay alive and attack while he was in Guardian Angel, basically turning in like an A tier unit into an S plus tier unit. And after they nerfed it, he was basically never as good. He was never as good. He was about
so bad. He wasn't bad. But he was...
People still played it and still did fine with it. I'm just telling you, it was so much more balanced. And I'm just telling you right now that if they do that to Yone, Yone is going to be shit.
It is current state. It is current state for sure. They would have to do some other things to compensate buff if they remove the Guardian Angel interaction. Honestly, the biggest issue with Yone is that so much of his power is tied up in his clone. Is like the issue with Yone, right? Because the clone is everything to Yone. Like the clone is what gives Yone like backline access. It gives him sustain. It literally gives him everything. It doubles his DPS output.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think that the GA interaction is pretty unhealthy though. I think that it probably should go because it feels really uninteractive to play against. Like, it feels pretty bad when like you kill the Yone, but then like he's reviving, and then his clone is just killing your entire backline. You're just like, bro, I can't do anything.
And I'll just say this: if you're looking for like, how do I play Yone? I want to play Yone. 6 challenges sounds really cool. Put his items on literally any other challenger, and just swap them when you hit Yone. Basically,
that's a good way. I would say Yone is like if there's anyone like responds to like almost like one trigger comp this set, like not set, like this patch, it's probably Yone. Yone is like one of the most beginner friendly comps to play right now because Yone has extremely flexible roll timings and that you can roll. Yone is like the only comp right now that like the only like 4-cost comp right now that I think is like actively really good when you roll at 4-1 for it because besides Yone, all the other units are 2s and 3s. So it's really easy to hit everything. And if you hit everything except for like Yone 2, low key, Yone 1's not even that bad. Like if you have the full vertical like 6 challenger and like good Yone items, Yone 1's actually not even that bad. Like it'll fall off stage 5 sure, but like on stage 4, like your board's actually not even that bad. But
it's
if you hit Yone 2,
it's more flexible than just rolling for it at 4-1. You can roll at 3-2 and 3-5 as well, really easily in this comp.
Yeah.
Hitting one Yone is just like you can do whatever you want for the rest of the game. You can roll basically whenever you want from that point on.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also after the sort of wave of Academy going up to play 6 Academy kind of fell off.
They nerfed Academy vertical basically.
Yeah, after they nerfed the vertical of Academy, nobody is picking up Yones anymore except for Yone players. There's
a lot of Yone players though.
Yeah, it's way easier to hit. It's way easier to hit this one.
I don't know. It's lobby dependent, dude.
It is a bit lobby dependent, that's for sure.
I feel like in my lobby, every lobby has like 3 Yone players. That comp is so contested.
Yeah, I would just say that like random people aren't taking your Yones anymore.
If you're playing maybe like lower elos, people might be sleeping on it. But I'll say for sure that like at like high elos, Yone is like very respected. There are so many people who play Yone.
Definitely. I just think that like because Academy is so much worse now, there's less people that are like stealing Yones.
There's less people randomly playing Yone.
Yeah.
Like we can concede with that. There's no Maximon is right. There's no random Yone 2 on boards. You only play Yone if you're Yone. I agree. But there's usually 3 Yone players.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the problem. There's usually 3 Yone players is the problem.
Yeah. Let's move on to the 5 costs.
Sure. Wait, did we miss any 4 costs? Oh, we could really briefly talk about this comp. And that's Urgot. This comp is pretty bad. It's only good when you are playing for a win streak, so it's kind of like Jin. But instead of like needing like Jace and shit, you need Jinx. You need Jinx and Yumi, and then it's like okay, and then you might be able to win your lobby.
You need Jinx
like,
too.
Top 4. But yeah. But that's Urgot. Everyone played Infinite Urgot last patch, so we don't need to talk.
Yeah.
We really don't need to talk so much about Urgot.
People know how to play Urgot now. It's all the exact same.
Yeah. It's the same units, yeah.
You do not get the extreme benefit of just having like Urgot 1 and Jinx 1 on your board. You need both of them to start to win lobbies now, basically.
Yeah, but the comp does still exist and can still do well. It's just it is a cut below the rest. Like everything else is significantly it's like a reasonable amount better than it. That you should only really play it if like the game is literally like handing every unit to you. Like I don't know, you natural an Urgot and your next shop was like Mundo Pen. And you're like, oh okay, I guess I'm playing Urgot. Like, alright.
You also kind of need one Chemtech related augment, I think.
Yeah, the instant injection.
Instant injection or chemical overload. Like you need one of like.
Yeah. I would say instant injection is the one that brings the win rate up the most.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying, like from the perspective of someone that like, oh, I really liked Urgot. I want to keep playing Urgot. Just remember that this comp, you will not top 4 more than you bot 4 with this comp if you do not hit pretty like excessively good, like excessively well.
Yeah. I mean, you could do. I mean, it's definitely like top 4 in a lot of lobbies I've been in. I even won some, but it's just a lot less consistent than it was before because Urgot 1 is a lot worse now. Like Urgot 1 before was serviceable. Now Urgot 1 doesn't even feel like a unit. Jinx is good, kind of, but like it's kind of inconsistent as well. Really needs to be 2-star and. Alright, I don't really want to talk too much about Urgot. Everyone knows this comp already. Everyone played it a lot last patch.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's keep going. So we're going to talk about 5 costs, right? So there's really only 2 5-cost comps to talk about, but this one's kind of interesting. Let's talk about the Galio comp.
This is going to be all you, this one.
Oh, me? Okay. Alright, so there's this Galio comp. It's kind of interesting. People would call it Clapio because it's crit animation. He just claps people. It's a bit of a meme, but it's actually good if you hit everything. And it's not even that hard to hit everything. The long story short of it is it's good when you have 2-star Scion, Galio in stage 4, and then the Galio needs IE plus 2 items. The other 2 don't really matter, but preferably it's like IE plus like healing. And then the Galio ideally also needs attack speed from like Zeke's Herald, but like that one's really hard to get. If you get it, it's really good. And then the rest of the board is literally just 3 socialites to buff the Galio, and this comp is basically like an auto attack version of like the Scion comp before Scion got like reworked. So you put the Galio in the socialite hex, you never ever move the Galio, he just auto attacks everything, kills everything. And the reason why is because Colossus units have extremely high base AD. They have, because they're 2 units, right? It's 2 units of 1. So Colossus units have really high base AD. So Galio is critting for like 600 to 700 per like auto attack, and he just kills everything with his auto. That's pretty much it. That's the comp. It's I would say it's literally unforceable. You cannot expect to gain LP forcing this comp. You will go ape so many times if you try to force it. But there's a big but. It's actually really easy to transition into because it's just AD items. Like it's just IE plus like 2 AD items. So like if you see a Galio in your shop at like 4-1, you can start to think about playing this comp. And it's actually kind of good if he hits. But yeah, that's Galio.
Interesting.
Your thoughts?
The fact that Galio is a better AD damage dealer than Jin is hilariously sad.
Jin?
That's fucking sad.
I was literally thinking, is Jin not just an item holder for Galio? Is Jin just an item holder for Galio?
Oh, that's good. Fuck. That's fucking funny.
I do love that this comp exists. I absolutely love this comp exists. Galio was the last freaking unit I expected. be a carry this set. It's actually so
TF is an item holder for Victor, and Jin is an item holder for Galio.
For Galio, yeah. But yeah, that's
Fuck.
Galio.
I just want to say that like they should not, in any way, shape, or form, bring Colossus back in 6.5. It's really early. It's really early.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
whatever they're trying to do with it right now has failed miserably.
It's just too hard to balance. Yeah, it's just too hard to balance. It's too hard to get right? It's like too good or too bad.
Yeah. And I don't want to watch them fuck around with it for another fucking 2 months.
I think the issue with Colossus and just how star scaling innately works in this game is that 1-star Colossus units are doomed to just be utter shit, while 2-star Colossus units are either like broken or like, bad. But like, you know what I mean, right? Like they're either too heavily overstated or they're understated. There's like no real middle ground. Yeah.
I haven't had a point in this set except for the 3 days that Scion was broken, where I saw a Scion or a Galio 2-star.
You were happy? Yeah, you were happy.
And was worried.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm happy with what I did to Scion. Like, I actually think Scion's like a playable tank now. If like somewhat interested. We did discuss this on the trauma episode, right? It's good with Galio, like as a frontline.
Yeah, that's
great. It's really hard to hit. It's really hard to hit, but yeah. And then this is before we figured out that it's Galio carry. But yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, I was just want to finish this off by saying, like, don't give yourself the headache, TFT team. Like, you don't listen to this, it's fine. I'm just like talking into the ether right now. Don't give yourself the headache of trying to make this fucking units work for another 6 months. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
1 patch they're going to be broken. 2 patches they're going to be really good. They're going to mess with the numbers all the time. No one is going to be completely satisfied with any of it at all. I am not. I have no. As a player of the game, I have literally zero desire to play Galio Scion. Some people do. The crit, like one-shot Scion. Like, okay, that's cool. But it's fucking unfun to play against. It's really fun to play, but it's unfun to play against.
Was for sure toxic. The crit Scion comp was super toxic. Absolutely.
But like,
was extremely
if you ask me what I want to play, like, I'm gonna put it this way, right? I'm gonna take 4 units compared to the Galio Scion.
Yeah, sure.
The other, like, the 4 main tank units that you would play in your team, right?
Yeah.
In most comps.
Yeah.
Brom, Leona, Oriana, Janna.
Oh, okay, sure.
Or like Janna, Taric.
I think Taric has to have an honorable.
Yeah. So let's just say, okay, Brom, Leona, Taric, Janna.
Yeah.
I would consider Janna like a defensive tank unit in a sense.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I agree.
100 times out of 100, I am not playing fucking Scion Galio. I don't care. I don't care about those units. I have no fucking want to play them. Clapio is cool. If they made Galio's fucking the essence of his unit that was what he was supposed to do. Yeah. Great. But he's not.
It's the fact that it's unintentional, right?
Yeah, it's totally unintentional. Scion being able to one-shot my entire board was also unintentional.
Unintentional, yeah, for sure.
Scion being a fucking meat sack that eventually dies, intentional.
How about the quick compromise? Like, I will say that, like, Colossus definitely should have come back in 6.5, but I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
I'm glad they tried. I'm glad it happened, because I think we got some pretty fucking funny moments.
It's like fucking Coven from set 5.
Yeah. It's like broken or it's not very good.
Yeah, and like one of the 3 units is fun. Like Morgana in Coven, for example, was fun because it was cool. It was cool to play and it was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it did a lot of good stuff. The rest,
sorry about LeBlanc.
Fucking useless. Yeah, exactly. The rest they couldn't get right. Yeah, these little like, albeit they're interesting, they're fun. They do some wacky shit. A lot of times they're broken. These little sort of traits like this do not work.
Yeah, for sure.
They have tried so many fucking times to make it work, and it does not work. I do not want to deal with it anymore. And I bet that they don't want to deal with it anymore because they're trying really hard to make it unique and
I think
interesting.
Colossus, I mean, not to drag this on, but I think Colossus is clearly like the biggest miss, and I don't even blame them because I think conceptually it's really cool.
Yeah.
But just too hard to balance. It's just I think it's like the full stop. It's just way too hard to balance.
But then I'll ask you this again: what the fuck point does Colossus have to do with the theme of this set?
Big dudes.
Yeah, big dudes, dude. Dude, I'm a fucking big dude. I'm not in the set. What the?
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not a fucking. I don't take up fucking two bench space.
Yeah, I can't give you a straight answer.
Like, it's like.
All right.
They're a cool idea done wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, moving on to other 5-cost comps. I didn't list Victor in here because I assumed we would be talking about in Arcanist, but yeah, Victor is also technically like a 5-cost comp.
Yeah.
We talked about Victor already. I do want to talk a little bit about Akali. Now, I haven't actually personally played Akali a lot myself, but I have watched other streamers play it, specifically Mismatched Socks, and I watched Ron, TXE, for those who don't know. I watched him play it as well in Arcanist comp. The comp is definitely real. It's not bad. It's definitely like decent. It's just very, very niche because it's extremely expensive and it's only really playable with like an econ open, or just you just hype into high roll the units. So basically, with Akali, like most of like the start of the set, people have been playing Akali as like a full vertical. Like you play 5 or 7 syndicates. But the better build for Akali is to actually just play 3 syndicates only. You play Akali, Storm, and Zyra, and that's it. And then the rest of your board is just expensive units. So currently, what's looking good is you play Akali, Echo, Braum, Zyra, Galio, Silence. So you play the Colossus frontline. Basically, CC your opponent into oblivion. And Akali can basically go to town with basically any items. Akali doesn't even need Biss. Like, we are assuming Akali 2, by the way. Akali 1's really bad. But Akali 2 is like really, really good, even like without Biss. Like, assuming you have like the crowd control. But that's Akali. It's really, really niche. It might come up like one every like 20 games. But the TLDR is 3 syndicate units plus like Akali 2 with like 2 other syndicate units plus frontline. It's good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When PBE was out, we talked a little bit about like how to get the syndicate buff on Akali effectively because it's the lowest percentage health, right? So in my mind, I actually really like the fact that there's a way to make that relatively easy. And I think I agree with you when you say that it's like once in a while this will do well.
Yeah, it's really rare. Like you need 2-star Akali. That's like the thing I've noticed. Like is the recurring trend. You do need to have 2-star Akali, otherwise it's not very good.
And I'll just say
quite good.
I'll just say once again, like it's so fucking hard to transition your board.
It's really hard, yeah.
From like
this is like a
what are you playing?
Sorry,
like
you go.
You're playing like Darius tier. You're playing like like 3 or 5 syndicate, and you're like slowly dropping shit out of it. But you've probably got to play like Echo. Like you have to play Echo because you're playing Echo in your late game comp.
Well, Echo's really easy to fit in.
But you're also playing Shaco. Like you like maybe.
Oh no, you don't play Shaco with this comp. That's
I mean like you have to hold. You have to you basically have to
No. Oh yeah. Sorry. If we're talking about the context of the vertical, yeah, the old version, yeah.
No. I more mean like you probably need to play Shaco to hold your comp together.
Oh, I don't think you do. I actually don't think you do.
You really don't think you do? Like what do you put your Akali items on?
Akali items don't matter. Akali items can be anything.
It can literally be whatever it wants.
It can be like she uses like literally every item. Like GA, like GA Goblet, GS. It could be like decap, blue buff, IE. It could be like IE. The combinations are literally endless. I can keep going. Like it literally could be anything. Because Akali, the way Akali works is that Akali like scales the longer the fight goes on for. That makes sense. Like with the way that like she tags enemies, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Basically, for Akali to kill everything, you just need the fight to not end, which is why it's Akali 2 plus a bunch of crowd control. Essentially, the comp.
Right.
Items actually are kind of fake. Trust. Akali items are fake. Trust. Akali items are actually fake. It's just that the only realistic way to get into this comp is like you are playing like a prismatic lobby and you hit like level up, or you have like windfall, and you can actually go like 9 and roll for everything, hit everything in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or it comes from like you high rolling like a Kali pair, and then somehow you hit a Kali 2, and then you can play this comp.
Complex.
But It's really hard to hit this comp.
Yeah.
But it exists. Good.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I watched I literally watched Dapper play a game where he just like played Akali, and he didn't play this exact version, but like Akali 2 is like still really good.
Yeah. Look, what I think we should do now is I think we should go on, like, we've talked for probably an hour and a half.
We talked a lot, yeah. We talked a lot.
I think what we should do now is we should go to questions and we should wrap up. And by the time we come back, we'll be like, we will have a patch rundown to go through. We will go through,
for sure.
Probably together and with our guest or guests, we will go through a bit about the patch and talk a little bit about that next week. Let's get to the questions, I think.
All right, so I'm asking them again, as usual. All right, so the first one is it possible to cheat in TFT?
You sent this one to me. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, Dapper is the one who asked it for this. But yeah, it is a really good question.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, yes? Okay, sure.
It is possible.
In what sense? Like, what way?
I think it is... Let me say this. I don't think it's possible to cheat on ladder.
Okay, right.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because that's such a strange thing to say. Cheat in TFT.
Okay.
It's possible to cheat in a competitive lobby, for sure.
Yeah,
like in a... Okay. I mean, it's very strict. This is a very hard question to answer, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can cheat in a competitive lobby. Like, you can watch other people's streams. You can, like...
I think win trading is probably the best example I could think of cheating, potentially, right? I think that, like, it might be somewhat easy to pull off in, like, a tourney setting. Like, I don't think it's that hard to make, like, alternative accounts. You just sign up, like let's say for like open quals, for example, you made like 4 random like bot accounts, not actual bots, but just like metaphorical bot accounts. And you just sign them all up, and you fucking pray that they get drawn into your lobby, you know. And then like you just like play like shit on the other screen, and then that just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just guarantee like 7th or better in that lobby essentially.
Interesting.
But, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, when it comes to like...
Oh, guys, if you want to cheat, what's up, Chuma?
Yeah. I just don't think it's possible to cheat on ladder unless like you're doing the thing where ladder
is really hard.
Like what people did in Hyper Roll, where they made 7 other accounts and then boosted themselves to like rank 1.
Well, you can Q snipe. That's the thing though on ladder, especially at higher elos.
Q sniping is... I don't think Q sniping is cheating.
No, that's not what I mean. But I'm saying like in theory, if you had like, you know, some OK's business for some guy, you know, you snipe and that guy just runs it down for you, you know.
Sure, there are outside circumstances.
That guy like griefs other people for you, you know, OK's business. Like, I feel like that's not that hard. Like it's not that hard for like a 0 LP Masters account to snipe like a Charlie lobby. It's surprisingly not that difficult, especially if you play like DJ hours. Like you would be surprised.
Yeah, I think. Let me say this: I think there is a difference between outside antics influencing TFT games.
Yeah.
I would say to like actually cheating in the game of TFT.
Which Sorry,
which is impossible.
If we want to define cheating, if we want to define cheating as actually like manipulating game mechanics, then I don't think you can in TFT. That's the way the game's constructed, right? I mean, I think there are a lot of external ways you can cheat in this game. That's the thing, right? If you really, really wanted to, if you were so inclined, I think there's a lot of external ways to cheat the game. Yeah,
there is.
So it's just low-key, but that feels like cheating to me. I actually agree.
David, can you refresh your camera, please? It's broken.
Yeah, sure. Oh, is it broken? Okay, wait.
Yeah, you look like a... Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, is it back?
Yeah, just refresh it.
Oh, okay. Wait, how do I refresh it?
Just turn it off and turn it back on, yeah.
Okay. Is it better?
Hopefully that fixes it.
Chunga says, I feel like instead of having to remember who my next matchups are, Blitz now is down 3. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know, I've seen a lot of Blitz opinions. Actually, we can briefly talk about Blitz. Blitz, do you play with it? Because I do.
I don't. Let me just say...
Yeah. My position becomes Esther. Yeah, I literally echo the sentiment.
Let me just say that I am infinitely griefing myself by not playing with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah,
because they have said well that you can, that it's fine to use it.
It said that it's legal, yeah.
Mort has literally said you can use this.
Like,
I just want to say that If you are not using it, you are giving yourself an infinite.
Wait, Trevor,
like,
you don't know?
Yeah.
Blitz is legal, dude. Yeah.
Blitz is like literally
Blitz is
legal.
confirmed legal. This was
Yeah.
a while ago though. Okay, I'm not saying this to be it, but like this was a while ago though. Like,
Yeah, you can
Blitz was
use it in a
confirmed legal, like,
tournament.
3
You can
months
use
ago.
it in a tournament setting.
Yeah. Like Mort specifically said that like they're not interested in testing
Policing.
people's abilities. Yeah, in testing
Yeah.
people's abilities to memorize matchups. Yeah, it's actually a downside to not play. Like you objectively should be using it.
So let me just talk about this.
It's insane. Yeah.
I do not use it. Technically, right now, under the current rules, I am probably going to, on average, do worse than you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's almost undeniable. Yeah.
And you know, I'm someone that tracks matchups. Like I did it before. I did it before the app. I have used Blitz app before. I'm not telling you I've never used it a day in my life. I have used it before. I do not use it 50% because I'm lazy and 50% because I don't like it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just want to say that like me being a player who does not use it right now under the context of the rules, I am worse off than someone using a third-party application.
Well, we're literally not playing the same game. Yeah, we're literally
not playing the same game. So we are totally playing a different game, and Chunga brings up a really important point in chat. You're versing somebody who can see that you're literally versing someone who knows the future versus you. Who
it actually high key is like it's so broken.
And
dude, it's legal, dude. It's actually legal. Like
like you're literally watching streams with like people using it.
It's literally just the reason everyone fucking uses it now because it's confirmed legal. Like there's literally no gray area.
So do I think Blitz is inadvertently cheating? No. They've said it's okay. Therefore it's fine. I will say if they do not find a way to give everybody this ability outside of an overlay app that is not affiliated with them in any way, they have to ban it.
I think the issue, right, is that it's coming from a third-party app. That's the biggest issue. So it's like really bad for like new players, right? Like that's what it always comes back to. It's like really bad for new players because like they don't know that like this third-party.
And that's the whole point. There is a gate.
Elevates your win rate, right?
There's a gate. Listen. I just look. The point is, while it's legal, use it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Mort has said that like they're actively looking to rework the matchmaking system. So who knows? Maybe by set 7 they'll have fixed it.
Yeah, they've been actively trying to. So the point is,
this has been for a while now, so I don't know if it's ever gonna happen.
The point is, if they're making it legal, if they've made it legal, it should be accessible to everybody. Currently, it's not. There is no like option to add this to your game in the TFT client.
I mean, like I agree with you on Real Fish that like it's not that big of a deal for low elo, but like you have to realize that like there are plenty of like mid elo like 0 to like 200 LP master players who like play the game like semi-casually and like somewhat decent at it, who have literally no idea that this exists. Like is like the real issue that I see.
I would also say that it is a significant advantage for anybody who plays this game.
Also, like I would just like to address the comment also that like Unreal Fish made that like it's like a HUD in poker, but less impactful. As someone who's like played online, like a decent amount of online poker, I would say it's literally on par with being as useful as a HUD. Like it is literally as useful as a HUD. Like it is so incredibly useful to like because okay, you could argue right that like you just look up at like your last few matchups, but like I'll just tell you that the amount of brain power you save in just being able to glance at your thing and see like 3 people you need to scout instead of like having to like waste like 15-20 seconds like figuring this shit out is actually so impactful. Like to use a poker analogy, it is literally as useful as like being able to immediately see their VPIP, their pre-flop like fucking PFRO, whatever the fuck it's called, like the tendencies, like it's literally like on par with that. And you can feel free to disagree, but like I don't know, man. As someone who played the game a lot before Blitz existed and then played the game with Blitz, it's literally completely different thing. You save so much time with the scouting app. Like you actually save your turns are so much more efficient.
And let me
turns right now. Sorry, you can go. I went on a bit. Went on kind of a long rant.
I agree with you. What I want to say is 15 seconds to a new player is not much. Yeah. To a good player, 15 seconds is an excessive amount of time.
Yeah, it's so much time. Like,
it is so much time. look,
Scouting
the second
literally takes me like 5 seconds. Like,
the second
it's
that
so
you
fast.
understand the basics of this game, right? So let's say you're a player, you could be anywhere from, I don't know, gold 2 to diamond 4. Let's just say you understand the basics of the game. You know that it's good to get to 50 gold. You know what units are good, but you're not great because maybe you don't slam items. Maybe you don't know what matchups you're going to play against. You have taken an entire genre, like an entire improvement aspect of this game, and removed it. You've taken a metric that defines improvement in a player and just gotten rid of it because it doesn't matter anymore. Now you have more time to get better at other things, to learn other things. So it is an automated part of the game that is not built into the game that benefits you greatly. And if they are going to keep it legal, they need to tell everybody about it. Basically,
but
is
the
what I'm
crux of the
saying.
issue is that it's third party, right? The crux of the issue is actually that it's third party. Like I actually like the game like this, like being able to immediately see the last 3 people I fought, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the metric however it works. But like the biggest issue is that it's third party, and that like not everyone knows that. That's by far the biggest issue. But,
yeah, and that is a significant problem.
It's a really long tangent, but
no,
I think that was good. It was good to talk about because actually I think it's in a really interesting sort of gray area. But,
yeah, the point is, if you're going to keep Blitz legal, everybody should have it. Otherwise, nobody should.
Yeah, agree.
Everybody or nobody. It cannot be a thing that benefits someone and not another person.
For sure.
Even if you don't want to use it, like me, I'm actively choosing not to use it. That's fine. That's okay. I understand that is a reasonable hindrance to my chances to be a top 10, 20 player. I will start using it when I get to Challenger. And that's okay. That is an active decision I am making because I know it exists. A guy actively.
Not everyone knows it exists, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So let's just.
We really don't get to make that choice, right? But,
yeah.
But yeah.
Everybody or nobody. Everybody or nobody.
It's curious as dude, if let's check the percentage of comps play when you hover over there. Oh, that would also be broken. If you could see tendencies, that would also be super. You immediately saw it was a cap also. Holy shit! Yeah, that's
look. From now on, if they add anything to Blitz that benefits you as a player, it is infinitely too much knowledge. Basically, it is too much knowledge for you to have.
Like, I mean, the man. I'm going to stop me if this is going. But I feel like the counter argument is that like these things can literally all just be done manually, right? Like, if you wanted to find out someone's tendencies, you could literally just low chess everybody, like during loading lobby, to find out like what comps people usually play. If you really wanted to keep track of matchups, you could literally play with pen and paper and write down every single matchup as you play them, and it's like not that hard. So yeah, like my argument, like to play devil's advocate, these are things that like anyone can in theory do, and like the Blitz existing is just like removing things that are tedious, if that makes sense. To play devil's advocate, like you know how I feel about the topic.
Yeah, and look, it's totally reasonable in life to be like, hey, if you're saying this about something, someone is very clearly going to have an opposing view. That's totally fine. I don't for a second believe that just because everybody can do it doesn't mean that it should exist.
Yeah, sure. Like
because the information.
I'm not necessarily saying that.
I know what you mean. Yeah. And the counter argument, let's say the counter argument to that understanding is that if it's legal, why doesn't everyone get that information for free?
Yeah, I agree. Like there should be more transparency, right? Like, I definitely agree. Like
if they're okay with transparency, then give it to me.
Yeah,
don't make me buy an download an app ridden an ad ridden third party app to just gain autonomy. That's not fair.
For sure. Yeah. All right, that was a really lengthy discussion on Blitz, but I think it was very good.
Yeah, I like that actually.
I thought that was quite good. Alright. Do you want to skip over the cat arena questions? Because I feel like we talked a lot about cat. I'm
Yeah,
down to
we
go
talked a
to-
lot about cat.
Yeah. How much longer do you want to keep this pod going for? We're at like 2 hours.
No,
Some
let's
of these
just
questions are really good though.
let's just get the questions in.
Okay,
and get out of here.
Okay, bet. Alright, I mean, this one's kind of self-explanatory, but I still wanted to bring it up because I was ranting about it. Is it bad manners to gloat in the streamer's Twitch chat if you beat them?
Look.
So for, you go.
Yeah, we got another question.
Basically for context, like I'm more or less the one who like brought this question up. So basically for context, I'm not gonna like name names other than the person like who got BM, other than the streamer who got BM'd, which is Asher, during the Arcanist Cup. But long story short, he went 8th in one of his games, and then the guy who sent an 8th like basically proceeded to go to his chat and shit talk. And I felt that like as like a competitor, it's like a pretty, I guess like anyone just participating in like competition, it's like a pretty disgusting thing to do. Like to basically kick someone when they're down, and like there's always in competition, right? There's always like room for trash talk and whatnot, like friendly banter and whatnot. But I think it's a different story when like you actively go to like kick someone while they're down, and yeah, basically shit on them when like they're already feeling really low. Yeah, thoughts? I don't know. I feel like this is somewhat self-explanatory, but
yeah,
apparently not, because people still do it. So I don't know.
Look, we both come from a card game background. We've said that before on this podcast. I come from a very competitive background that includes international competitions for multiple different things, including real life sport.
Yeah.
If you punch down, you are an asshole.
Yeah, right?
It's okay. Punching down can be funny. Oh man, that guy's having a really bad day. I know I shouldn't laugh. Yeah, that's funny. Like,
I think it's a different story, right? If like before the 20, you're like, oh, I'm gonna like shit on you, like I'm gonna farm your ass, right? That's fine.
Let's do the full context for this, right? The guy saw what Escher was doing.
Yeah.
Took his comp, basically fully pivoted.
Basically full pivoted, yeah.
Fully pivoted specifically to get him.
Great.
Yeah, and I will tell you that this has happened before. We have had a situation like this happen before in TFT esports in an EU qualifier event where a guy needed to win and somebody trolled him, sent him 6th, and he missed out.
Yeah.
It is that guy was rightfully furious. But that is a nature of competition in this game.
Yeah, I think the griefing part is like fine. That's part of the game, right? But
and look, it sucks, right? If I was that guy, I would feel fucking so bad, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not gonna tell that guy who just got knocked out because someone took his comp that he's a piece of shit. Like, fuck you, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I think the line
because I'm not
really
a fucking asshole. There's a pretty fucking clear line there. That is a reasonable part of competitive play. Yeah. Like, you need to do badly.
I would like to preface that, like, I would like to preface this with saying that, like, I think griefing is literally part of the game. Like,
yeah,
like if you have nothing to play for and you actively want to like grief someone's chances of winning, that's on you. That's fine. Like, I don't even think that's actually like a dickhead move. I think the dickhead move is going to them afterwards to shit talk. Like, that's the fucked up part for me, you know? I think griefing is honestly whatever. Griefing is literally part of the game. There are like so many like moments in TFT that like where griefing is like super hilarious and like it's fine. Like,
we've talked about some on this podcast before. I think Chunga brought it up last week, right? When he said that you know, a guy needed Gangplank off Carousel.
Oh, that was me.
That was you, right?
Kiyun.
Yeah.
That's Kiyun.
Kiyun needed GP. He gets it. He's first pick. He's on the other side of the board. The guy who doesn't need it takes it. He's out of worlds, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That sucks. That sucks.
That's part of the game, but like that's part of the game. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
That is where the line is. There's the line, right there. Anything after that, asshole. Absolute asshole. Look, consolidations, like, you shake hands. At that point, if somebody beats you, And if they're using, you know, whatever it may be, if they're using a tactic that you don't appreciate, but it's within the rules, you have every right to be upset as a person. Totally fine. If the person who beats you then calls you a little baby bitch, like, go fuck yourself, you fucking loser. I'm so much better than you. Get fucked. And I'm sorry for the fruity language, guys, but like, that's...
No, I think it's a pretty serious topic. And like,
that is so... I mean, like you said, we're not name anybody from there on.
No. We don't, like, other than the person involved. Like, as in, like, other than the victim, right? Like, we would only, like, name the perpetrator or anything.
Let me just tell you...
There's no point.
Let me just tell you, I have no interest in interacting with anybody that does that from then on. Basically. Anybody that would do that, I have no interest.
I don't know, when I start admiration, I contest this cat and we go on to it. I just sound like PD.
Yeah, bro, play a diff.
Yeah. I just sound like PD.
Yeah.
You guys just built diff, you know?
Look, let's move on from that question, because there is a very clear line between the confines of this game and the confines of human existence. If you beat me in a game of whatever, of Go Fish, or fucking Scrabble or chess, whatever, and you sit there in front of me, 5 feet away from me, and you're like, fuck you, you stupid piece of shit, I hate you, like, you're an idiot, why didn't you do this? You know, anonymity online gives people a lot of bravery.
Like people would literally never do that in real life, is the thing, right? No one would ever do this. Like, you'd literally get punched in the face if they did it, right?
Exactly, and people aren't that brave in real life.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
exactly.
And like, look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it was Escher, dude. I would be just as upset if it was you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, it doesn't matter who it is. If someone acts like an asshole, like, that's it. You know.
For sure.
And you know, what's that famous quote? You know, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. That's like a very famous sport, like, fighting quote. You know, like, everybody's got a plan until they get hit, and that's it. You know, and done deal. Nobody. I would not advise anybody who is my friend to interact with anybody like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Competition is a healthy thing. Learning how to lose is just as important in life as learning how to win.
Alright, I'm down for this as the last question. It's kind of interesting because I've been seeing this pop up on Twitter lately as well. So the question is basically, what do you think of NA personalities refusing to... I mean, I'm assuming this is where the question, question originates from. But the question is essentially, I'll go from the top, sorry. What do you think of NA personalities refusing to read Twitch chat during games or on stream as a way to ignore advice about the game? Do we like chat during game? Is this a too little care issue? Do we even have enough followers to know what this is like?
It's a big question. It's a big question.
It's a big question. I would say, like, I can start, like, saying that, like, the origin of, like, this question is a well-known player called Rebkev on Twitter. Basically tweeted that, like, he basically won't be reading Twitch chat anymore during, like, whenever he streams. It's because the chat just, like, puts his mental way too hard. Yeah, that's sort of the origin of this question, basically.
And look, I've prefaced this question with, like, we do not have 300 people in our chats every stream. We are not... I literally, every single TFT stream I have ever done has never been, like, overridden by people like, why didn't you do that, you idiot? I don't know. Sure. I don't know what that feels like.
Same.
I don't... Neither one of us know what it feels like to exist in a world where there are hundreds of people telling you that you've made mistakes in that in TFT. So I just want to say I feel for Ramkev in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also want to say that if you have been on the internet for more than 1 hour in your life, you have to, at the very least, and look, and good for him. Really, really good for him. If he sticks to it, if he refuses, that's fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, if it's better for his mental, right? Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's best for you, right? But
yeah. And I would never put somebody down for making a decision and sticking to it. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mentality-wise, I don't think that this is a situation that fixes the problem.
I think that like the problem is that like something. Well, firstly, this is just not the answer. Like in my opinion,
Yeah.
like it might help your mental, but it's not gonna make the crux of the problem go away.
Yeah.
And I think the other bigger issue here is that like people are just gonna be dicks on it. That's just like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying like, oh, people are gonna be dicks, like, you know, not enough snowflake. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying that like it's just an inevitability. Like, you know, like the taxes. People are gonna be dicks on
Yeah.
the internet. That's unavoidable. Like there's
Exactly.
always gonna be assholes out there. Internet is literally
Yeah.
endless, right?
I'm just gonna re-say exactly what you just said. We are not, you know, getting at somebody for wanting to make a decision that benefits their mental health.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That is a seriously necessary thing in life. If you need to do something to make your mental health feel better, do it.
Yeah.
This is not a full-time solution to an issue with video game angst or anger or aggression. Those are those are topics way beyond certainly mine. I will say that when Sol, my co-host here, is a fully finished psychology student, in 3 years' time, maybe he will do a study on anger in video games and come back to us, and like we will be able to have an intellectual discussion about it. I will just say that mental health is an incredibly valuable and important resource in everyone's life. And if interacting with others on the internet makes you so upset that you can no longer interact with them, the short-term solution is to block it out. I totally agree with that. But that's it. If that's it, I don't think that's good enough, personally. I think that there probably needs to be more done personally. But it's not Ramkev's fault.
No, of course not.
But it's also not really Twitch chat's fault.
It's not really Twitch chat's fault either, right? Yeah, that's the thing.
It is a significantly normal and understood response to feeling aggrieved is to shut away criticism. And if that makes you feel better mentally, that's great. That's really necessary.
Well, I think the thing, right, is that it's not really just shutting down of criticism. I would like to make the amendment that it's more like the bigger issue is more shutting down like unconstructive criticism. It's like a lot of I mean, there's such thing as constructive criticism, right? But like a lot of the criticism that like bigger streamers get is just completely unconstructive and comes from people who like literally like lack the ability to critically think in like situations.
Yeah.
And like are very, very results oriented. So like I think as TFT players, like it gets really like, especially good TFT players who understand that like variance is a thing and to not be like too hindsighty, not to be like results oriented. It's really, really tilting to see people who like are incapable of thinking this way, right? But yeah, it's really like I think it's like really frustrating. Like it's like really frustrating to see someone who like can't understand the idea that like, you know, you can make a decision that's correct 70% of the time, and it's wrong like 30% of the time, and they just see that the 30% is wrong, and they're just like digging at you because like you're like the outcome was bad, so it must have been bad, right? But not really how it works. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. And,
yeah. There's
I can feel his frustration.
I understand the frustration totally. I totally get it. Not engage, like refusing to engage with them is fine as a short term.
Yeah.
But it is not a long term solution. If you want the chance, if they're acting in bad faith, then get rid of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Block them, remove them.
Stricter mods, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a solution. You just have stricter mods.
I think I believe personally, Cutler, the person talking, believes that the ability to change, expand and talk with somebody and change their mind is a significantly more valuable tool than shutting them out completely.
Sure.
Because there will be a significant number of people in a chat.
But it's also really, but the problem, like to play devil's advocate. Sorry, I don't mean to be a dick, but like to play devil's advocate, that's also really mentally taxing and extremely.
Yeah, of course it is, and that is not something that you're able to do all the time. which is why I
Yeah,
do believe
sure.
that this isn't a bad thing, what Ramkev has done. I will just say, if it doesn't work, that is when you need to like moderate heavily the people that are viewing your content in bad faith.
Yeah.
Because those people are genuinely acting to upset you.
Yeah, they're just bad actors, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
For sure.
And refusing to read all of the chat because of bad actors is unnecessary. There is action that can be taken to help you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a hard question.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Ramkev.
I think it's a tough question, and yeah, I definitely feel bad for Ramkev. I mean, it's definitely not just Ramkev. That's probably like, I mean, honestly, like all the big like streamers go through this for sure. Like,
yeah, I bet they do.
It's just an inevitability of like the internet and just like how vast it is, right? When you have a big viewership. Yeah, can't say I have a easy answer, but yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think there is an easy answer. The
humans.
humans.
Says that the other side. Sorry, I was gonna say Sandy says that the other side of the coin is that there are people who have good intent but deliver the messages poor. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
There are people like who have like good intent but just have like issues communicating things properly. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll always be a difficult scenario.
I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I don't want to. Again, I don't want to drag this episode out too long because this is really long. But yeah, I do think that this specific these questions like were pretty good. I think that I'm glad we had this conversation, right? Like I think that like some of these things, particularly like with the more mental health related like issues with like TFT, are like very applicable and very universal to a lot of other games. Right?
Yeah, of course. It is significantly applicable. It's good to talk about the deeper topics too, you know, sort of delve deep.
For sure.
Delve deep.
Yeah, rather than just complaining about going 8th. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and the internet will never be fixed like that. But let's wrap up, guys. I think we're done.
All right, let's call it a show. It's 2 hours and 18 minutes. Jesus Christ. It's my longest episode. Like, holy shit.
Oh, definitely. By a mile. I'm looking forward to editing. Guys, I want to say if you stayed for the whole thing, if you're an audio or a Twitch listener, thank you so much. We film these live every Tuesday evening, Australian Eastern Standard Time, Queensland time, 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday nights. I have been Cutler. You can find that live at twitch.tv/CutlerTFT. You can find me on Twitter at CutlerTFT, all one word. Soul, my friend, shout yourself out and let's get out of here.
Yeah, you can find me at soul_TFT on Twitch. I think I have the exact same handle on Twitter if you want to follow me on Twitter to know when I go live. That's pretty much it.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Let's get out of here.
All right, have a good one.
Bye for now.
Take it.
Bye.
I'll be off. Bye-bye.